This is the Big O Show. 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 This.
So here's the putting green. See? There you go. Got two flags. One is over there where Cutter's Edge Pro. It's not coming out now. Come on. Come on, wind. Give me a little wind. No, unfortunately. But there you go. And this one says Big O here. There you go. So there's my putting green. It's about, I would say about 25 feet, something like that. I get to practice, have a little fun. See? And then, of course, we got, the bunkers. Got to have the bunkers, man. Got all kinds of bunkers there. You know what I'm saying? So that's a taste of our backyard. There's Maiden right there. Maiden. Bono, how you doing, Bono? Bono. He's a Carolina dog, by the way. These dogs are amazing. Their temperaments are awesome. But there is the Sylvester Palm, which is just beautiful. All right, call my guys, Will and Mike at Cutter's Edge Pro. They will take care of you. Dogs are not included, okay? Can't include the dogs. Those are mine. But the exceptional work, oh, baby. Oh, baby. Yes. Make your home an oasis. CuttersEdgePro.com. Go to their Instagram page, by the way, so you can see a lot of the before and after work that they do. And it is exceptional, baby. This thing's been on here for about 9 months. No grass growing through it or anything like that. Right, Bono? Huh? Bono!
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com. Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Jesus. Hold on. Okay. Do we have the go here? All right. Do we have it here? Yay, yay, yay. Let's go. Tell me. What do we got? We're good now? Okay. So good morning, one and all, as we started all over again on a beautiful Friday morning where we're all feeling it right now, right? I mean, those of us that are Panther fans, of course. If you're not a Panthers fan, you're not hurting today. You know, those of us that are Panthers fans, we're hurting because you're up to like 2 a.m. watching the team. And now you wake up and you are tired in every way possible, you know, and it's just one of those, like I was saying earlier, it's kind of like having sex. When you have some great sex, you're tired after, but it's a good kind of tired. You're like, yeah, this is the kind of tired I want to be. Not when you have to clean the house or clean your car. That's not the kind of tired you want. That brings you down. See, but when you have some great sex and you're tired, you're like, yeah, all right, this is a good tired. So today, this is a good tire. You know what I'm saying? he's not an engineer. You know that, right? You're all getting all dizzy. Yeah, up now. Now you got to go up because you have cut out the KSDT hat. And my KSDT hat is sharp. So this is just one of those where much better now. Much better. So this is one of those days where, the tiredness is, you feel it, but it's worth it, Although I got to tell you, last night, 1 overtime and then 2 overtime and 3 overtime. And I'm like, yo, mofo, I need this game to end, man. I had a short night last night, the night before, because I was in Raleigh for the concert for Crowded House. And I went to sleep around 12:30, 12:40, and I woke up like at 4 a.m, and I had to fly out at 6. So I didn't get a ton of sleep last night when I did the show yesterday. And so I was kind of tired, and then I'm watching the game, but I didn't want to take a nap during the day. I don't know if some of you are like this, but if I take a nap in the afternoon, brother, it'll take me forever to go to sleep at night because I'm just like an insomniac. I already have trouble as it is sleeping at night, so it's just one of those deals. And man, every overtime they get piling on, I'm like, oh, dude, I got a 3-hour gig tomorrow I got to do at KSDT. You know what I mean? But we'll get through it. We'll power through, and we'll have some fun. We are loaded today. Manny Navarro will join us at 11 o'clock, and we'll talk a little Canes with him. I got some interesting things to ask him. Cameron Wolf with our KSDT CPA, Miami Dolphins and NFL report at noon. And at 12:30, my buddy Gary Washburn from the Boston Globe, who is the national NBA writer, covers the Celtics, been covering the Celtics for years. Love bringing Gary on. He has incredible perspective covering the Celtics. So looking forward to that. Plus, he's really hooked into the league. So we'll get his thoughts. He's there in Boston, and we'll get his thoughts on what he thinks is going to happen tonight and what he thinks about the Celtics. So good stuff there. Panthers last night. I mean, what can you say? Verhage, Barkov came through with a goal and assist, and then Kachuk with almost heading to the 5th overtime. Holy shit. God. Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate you, Matthew. Man, you need some, what? Yeah, Verhage's just, bro, he's just a monster. Verhage's just too much. He really is. He's just that guy that you definitely want on your team. You know what I'm saying? But Bob has been phenomenal throughout. He had some saves last night that were just sick. And you think about this, man. The NBA with their little, load management garbage, they would need a day off in between overtimes. Meanwhile, here are hockey players, and they'll be back in 2 days. Okay? And they played like 7 full periods, right?
7, well, pretty much, yeah, because 15 seconds left in the 4th overtime?
Yeah, 7 full periods, dude.
Yeah, Duclair took a skate to the face twice.
Yeah, dude.
On one
Did
play.
You see that shit? And he came back.
Yeah, he was back on the ice.
He came back. An NBA player would be out like 3 months.
Goodness gracious.
I mean, seriously, it's just it is amazing, dude. Yeah. What time after the game, dude? 2 a.m. What are you gonna do? You just hang out comatose and you're watching. And I gotta say, I will admit there were moments where I'm sitting in that chair in the 4th one, and I dozed off once or twice. Whoa, okay, it's like, oh, I missed a minute of action here. I swear to you, that fourth overtime was tough for me, dude.
Wayne Gretzky wasn't happy.
They won. I was like, okay, good. I'm going to sleep. And I just like, I'm done, bro. And I woke up and I'm hurt. I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
The great one wasn't happy. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, Gretzky?
In the studio show.
Yeah.
He was like-
In the intermission. Yeah,
He was like, "This could be going all night long. We're gonna have to get a change of clothes."
Everybody's got to. They're taking care of the puck, and they don't want to be the guy to turn it over, and this, that. Do you watch Ted Lasso?
No.
Any of you watch Ted Lasso? Tell me that the guy, I forgot his name now. That the gruff guy in Ted Lasso, the former player that's in the coaching staff. I forgot his name now. That he was with Keeley and they broke up and all that. That guy that he's like a rough and gruff guy. There's one of those guys that's one of the analysts. I swear he reminds me of him, man. Like, exactly, dude. It's like they got the character from Ted Lasso and they put him right inside the NHL studio. And I've been wanting to say that for a couple of months that I've been seeing him in the studio. And I've been wanting to say, that's the guy from Ted Lasso. You know what I'm saying? Ted Roy. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, the goalie interference call was horseshit, dude, because it was Drury that was pushing him into the goalie. He was trying to get the hell out of the way. You know what I mean? And I'm with you all the way. Well, that was a horseshit call, dude. Complete horseshit call. Yeah. I got pissed just like the rest of you with that one because that would have put me out early. You know what I'm saying? that would have saved us a couple of hours of sleep, bro. You know, that would have saved us 2 hours of sleep.
Yeah, because it was 22 minutes and 28 seconds into the first overtime.
Right.
Yeah, it would have saved us another 3 hours.
Yeah,
well, 2.5.
Yeah, about 2.5. Yeah, 2 hours. Wow, man. Those bastards.
Remember, the last goal was scored at 10:38 a.m. and then there was no goal until the one in overtime. So they went almost 3 hours.
Yeah. But yeah. Yeah. I hope those refs didn't sleep at all last night, bastards. Because they made us hang in there longer than we had.
It was funny too because the analysts were kind of like, it could go either way. I can see them moving out of the way, and then I could see where they could get away with calling it goalie interference.
Yeah, that's called covering your ass because you don't want to like make a, I see this in my business all the time. The guys that don't have an opinion because they're afraid to have an opinion, they're afraid to be wrong, so they play both sides of the fence. Notice how I don't really fence straddle pretty much ever. I'm either right or I'm wrong, and that's it, dude. That's all. That's what you guys tune in for. You ask me for an opinion. You know what I mean? And so that's what I hate. You're out there, you're an analyst. Give an effing opinion, bro. Stay on one side of the fence. Of course I can see it go either way. Great, you covered your ass.
Well, they're saying
It's
because
fantastic.
of the skate in the back when he whipped his leg around. That's the one that took Anderson out.
But
He
it
said
doesn't happen if you're
besides
not
that-
pushing him in.
Yeah, but it's up to the They were explaining the whole thing. That's why I was saying it's like.
No, I heard the
mean, it was
explanation.
like-
I was watching.
Yeah, but so then it's the right call though.
No.
By the rule, it was the right call.
Well, hold on a second. But if Drury's the one that's forcing you to go backwards, what do you? And that's what
Drury never crossed the in front of the goalie. He stayed right outside of that. They said if he would have came inside it, then they would have.
He was backing up, dude. He was backing up in that play. Watch the play.
Yes, he was backing up, but at the same
he's
time,
the one that's pushing the Panther into the goalie, and that's why they clash skates.
No, but they said it is up to the offensive to the Panther player to make sure he does not contact the goalie. Drury can go back slowly. He didn't if he would have flung himself back, then
if he doesn't go back,
it's semantics. It's basically semantics of how he's smart enough to know how to make it look like he wasn't going back, and that's the problem. Where
you believe that?
I believe it. Yes, watching it.
I believe he was pushing.
Yes, I am pissed off that it cost me 2.5 hours of sleep. But I mean,
yeah,
because if it would have went the other way, I would have sure as hell wanted the call too.
Yeah. Some people are coming in with the Roy Kent stuff. Yes, exactly. I don't know. I'm
so happy we got TNT though for both the Panthers.
I know, because now it's every night a different, and I hate when both are playing at the same time, and you're like, your head's on a swivel. Panthers now have won 7 straight games on the road. They've won 5 straight games in overtime. By the way, Carolina was undefeated in overtime leading into this game last night, just like the Panthers. So somebody had to get their first loss, and it was Carolina. And let me tell you something. There's over 127 people now watching on the show, and please hit the like button. The Panther fan doesn't really have a team to dislike, but I'll tell you this is the team I dislike. This is the team that's had the Panthers number for a few years now. And that's one of the things that I've been wanting to talk about the last couple of days since this has been set up. And last night I was thinking about it. I was going, this is the series that I want to win the most in Panther history. And it's not the Tampa Bay Lightning. I don't really have that kind of disdain for Tampa. And you know why? They've beaten Tampa. You know what I mean? Several times. So it's just one of those things like, okay, and I know how good Tampa is, but Carolina has been, Jesus Christ, dude, a thorn in the Panthers' side for the last few years. And they're a really good team. That's why. I mean, think about it. They're favored to win the cup. So the Panthers beat the Bruins that were favored to win the cup. Then Vegas said, okay, Bruins are out. Toronto is next. They're favored to win the cup. So the Panthers are now facing Toronto. They eliminate them. And now Vegas says, okay, now it's Carolina favored to win the cup. Panthers are second, Vegas third, Edmonton fourth out of the 4 teams left. So the only time the Panthers are going to be favored will be in the Stanley Cup finally as an 8th seed, because Vegas finally feels that the Panthers are at least better than Vegas and Edmonton, but not better than Carolina. And really, they haven't been better than Carolina over the years. Carolina's been the better team. They're the team that's, I'm sure their fan base has been thinking about winning a Stanley Cup. And considering even the last couple years, but Vinny Trocheck, right, was the name of the kid? Vinny Trocheck.
I'm sitting here looking up because I remember that's when I started
hating Carolina.
Yes.
Because the sons of bitches would pound the shit out of Vinny Trocheck, and we were such wussies, not anymore, because with Gudis and those guys around, you're not pulling that kind of crap anymore on the Panthers. But a couple of years ago, Vinny Trocheck, little Vinny Trocheck, tough Italian kid, right? Good player. And man, he would take a beating for no reason at all. And Carolina happened to be one of those teams that delivered a beating. By the way, he eventually ended up on Carolina, and then he would beat the Panthers with Carolina, which, right. And then right. And it's just kind of, and so I got to tell you something. I don't know how many, that's why I wanted to ask. Now we're up to 140. How many of you out there that follow the Panthers, that care about the Panthers? Like if GP Trapp is in there, I know I could get some passion out of him. I think as a Panther fan, at least this Panther fan, the team that I really dislike the most is the Carolina Hurricanes. Yeah. And this will be the most satisfying victory in a series for me as a Panther fan. More satisfying than beating Boston, more satisfying than beating Toronto. Shit, they were beating Boston this year. In the regular season, they were the most successful team against Boston in the regular season, and they were the best team ever in the history of hockey. The best record ever, the Boston Bruins this year. And the Panthers had more wins than anybody else. They were tied with another team for 2 wins against them and then handed 4 more to them in the playoffs. So I don't have that disdain for Boston. I don't have it for Tampa Bay. I don't have it for the Rangers. I have it for Carolina, dude. How weird is that? Like, we've never had a rivalry with anything in Carolina. But and by the way, this isn't a rivalry because they own the Panthers. And that's part of this is how you exercise this demon. I was actually talking to a friend of mine about that yesterday. It was, I was hoping we wouldn't play Carolina. I'm like, no, I want to play Carolina. I want to exercise that demon. You need to. And so I got to tell you, this is one that I am really, really looking forward to. And I hope they get it done. But just amazing stuff. 63 saves by Bob last night. 63 freaking saves. Now, let me get into something here that I'm starting to get on the DMs. I'm starting to get on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook, all over the place. Even some here, maybe on the chat board. I'm sure it'll come in. People are saying, I got to apologize to Bob. Man, he's playing out of his mind. I got to apologize to Kyle Lowry. He's playing really well. No, you don't. You don't need to apologize to Bob. You don't need to apologize to Kyle Lowry. Do you know why? Because neither one has earned their salary yet. Because for several years, they have been underachieving. For several years, they've been stealing money. So finally, Kyle Lowry is helping you out, not as a franchise player, because you're paying him $30 million. $30 million, I expect a lot more than a bench player. But at least he's coming through as a bench player and playing well. So I commend him for helping the team out. But he still has never earned his salary. It's still a terrible contract. And at least now he's productive. So you don't owe Kyle Lowry anything whatsoever. Okay? It's like, when I hear, well, hey, he's a good father. He's there with his kid. No, you asshole. He's a regular father. He's supposed to be there with his kid. Oh, no, he's a good father. He pays the bills. No, dude, that's not a good father. That's what you're supposed to do, dude. That's your responsibility. Right? The gun went off. You got her pregnant, right? Well, then now it's your responsibility for many years to come. That's the way it goes. You want to be a parent? Well, the ride is forever till you die. Not till they're 18, till you die. So this is, sometimes, Bob playing 63 saves yesterday, out of his mind. You don't owe Bob anything. Bob's played like dog shit for years now. He's been stealing money for years. Now he's finally playing like the goaltender that you expected him to play. And thank the Lord, at least you've got a shot now. But he hasn't been playing like this like 3 years. See, you paid Jimmy Butler, and he gives it to you every single night because that's what a real star does. You give that money to Kachuk, and you trade for him, and what does he do every night? He's a mother effer every single night. You pay Teron Armstead. I know he's had his injuries, but you see the difference when he plays, right? He brings it. He changes the aspect of the entire game. You traded for Tyreek Hill. What, you need him to show up for 2 games? No, he shows up every game because that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're paid. So you don't owe Bob anything. Bob owes you more. Bob owes you this playoff run. It still doesn't make up for how disappointing he has been as a player for years now. This is his 4th year. And in his 4th year, he finally found a way to play good for a couple months now. Because that's all he's been doing. He's been playing well for a couple of months. That's it. Not even a couple of months. Dude, Alex Lyon got him into the playoffs. I'm sorry. He's been playing well for a month. Well, he had a decent year at times, but not the Bob that you saw in Columbus. You've never seen that Bob until now. So for those of you that the problem that we have in life at times is that we become prisoners of the moment. And we don't look at the macro. I love using that word because too many you look at the micro. And in the micro, that doesn't tell you the whole story. So, yeah, Bob is playing phenomenal now. But who cares? You're supposed to play phenomenal, dude. It's about time you played phenomenal. Kyle Lowry, you're doing a good job as a role player. You're not doing a good job as a franchise player. No, you're not doing a good job as a star because you're neither. And they're paying you that way. So you're already stealing money, even with what you're doing now. So let's make sure we get this straight, because we have a tendency sometimes to give people credit for something they don't deserve one bit of credit. It's your responsibility, baby. Your job is to live up to this. And when you don't live up to it, what did we talk about yesterday, Sean? The Lakers got what from Anthony Davis 2 nights ago? 40 points. What'd they get last night? They didn't get 40 points, right? You know what they got from AD? 41 minutes, not 40 points. They got 4-15 shooting and 18 points. And what did we tell you yesterday? Can you get that from AD every night? No. I wonder why, bro. But Alonzo Mourning can bring it every night. Michael Jordan can bring it every night, right? Steph Curry brings it every night, right? All the great players, when they're great, LeBron, they bring it every single night. And when you're paid that way, guess what? You're supposed to. What Matthew Tkachuk does every night for the Panthers, he's supposed to. You paid him to be a franchise player. You traded things to get him to be a franchise player. Matthew is doing what he's supposed to do. Jimmy Butler's doing what he's supposed to do. This is what you paid these people to do. Sergei Bobrovsky, for the first time in 4 years, is playing the way he's supposed to play in this month. Remember, this is a team that used 4 goaltenders this year. So you don't owe anybody, okay? Now, Pookie, he owes a lot of people, but you don't owe them any apologies. Were you going to say something before?
Yes, the Panthers are 3-0 when Bob has 50 saves. I don't know if that's a good stat or not.
Well, you're getting peppered.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
And then also...
It shows that he's really sharp.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, you'd rather keep it in the 25, 35 save range. You know, something so you don't overwork, because obviously the more shots, eventually something's going to get by. You know what I'm saying? But you want to know how sharp you are. 63 saves last night in 7
big
periods.
Time saves too.
I mean, was, oh my God.
Sometimes I was like, oh, it's over.
In that third overtime, he had 2 saves within a minute. That was just one on the right side, one on the left side. The left side that he got the skate right on the thing, and he trapped trapped the puck. Holy shit, dude!
And then the one where the guy was right in front of him, the rebound came out, and he just batted the glove real quick and got it. I was like,
yeah. And let me tell you, the other guy too. I forgot his name.
Anderson.
Anderson.
Tremendous.
He had some saves yesterday too that were like, mother.
Look, if that that was a sniper shot by Tkachuk. If that. I mean, again, that's he put it in the spot, and you couldn't. There's nothing you could do there.
No, yeah.
But I did want to ask you this with the Panthers, because we talked about it, and it's been talked about because of Maurice coming in.
Mm-hmm.
The team last year, that game doesn't go to overtime.
Oh,
right,
God,
because they were so undisciplined. The way that Carolina plays,
they
would have picked it apart.
Yeah. And they're too finesse.
Yeah. Whereas this team, you just see the scrappiness and just, I mean, again, it's
everything.
It's not the beautifulest thing where you're watching 6 goals.
But it's what Poupart was saying.
Playoff hockey.
This is how you're going to win in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And by the way, we saw some of that with the Panthers back in the 90s. Mm-hmm. The only thing is they did not have the skill of Tkachuk, of Reinhardt, of Verhaeghe, of Montour, of Duclair, of Bennett. And that's the problem. You know what I mean? And that's also what this team didn't have before, just the last couple of years. You had some finesse guys. You had a lot of athleticism and speed, but you didn't have the toughness that you needed, the edge that you need. You know what I'm saying? And now, dude, Montour is gritty and tough, and your best player, Kachuk. You know, when your best player is willing to get as dirty as a defenseman, that sends a signal that everybody on that team is screwed because you have no excuse. The guy they're paying the most is willing to sacrifice his body, put himself in front of that net, take all kinds of hits. You've all seen it. And he's a man and a half, dude. He gets walloped and he doesn't whine like a little bitch or anything. He gets right back up again, starts skating, starts playing, starts fighting. It doesn't matter to him. He's not like looking for the referee and protection or anything like that. No, dude. That guy's as blue collar of a superstar that I've seen in a long time. And that's because that whole family is like that. His dad was like that when I was young. And so he and his brother, are you surprised? It's like watching a Manning play football. Well, yeah, I watched Archie. And now you're looking at Peyton and you're looking at Eli. And what do you think about what's the next kid that's coming? Scooter or what? No, huh? Arch Manning. That's it. Scooter's the other guy, right? Scooter's the other kid, right? Didn't it have a Scooter Manning? I think there was a Scooter Manning. Yeah, I don't think he's a player at all. And then the other one is Cooper Manning, right? The funny one. Cooper Manning's the funny one. Right, that's what it is. Crazy stuff, dude. Playoff Bob is different. Well, this Bob right now he's finally showing up. You know? So, humbly disagree, Big O. Kyle's earning in the playoffs, which is all that matters. Now it's a great contract. Bob was paid like this in the playoffs. EJ, it's $30 million. Kyle Lowry's not playing like a $30 million player. He's playing like Gabe Vincent. He's, playing like Max Strus. That's who he is. They're getting kind of the same thing from other guys, So, it's I'll disagree with your disagree. Okay. Skylar Tipton says, prisoner of the moment is a challenge for some people for sure, but you also can't knock people for it. Gotta enjoy the winning while you can, while keeping the big picture on the back of your mind. Oh, yeah, no, enjoy the winning. I'm just saying, this whole thing, we got to apologize to Bob. No, dude. For this month, he's finally earning a portion of his money. He still owes a lot more. I see Brian Walters was in number 1. Jamie Zorria out in San Jose. 2 a time, 2 extreme. Noel Doubt. Yeah, like Nole, making you happy there. He's a Noel. Internet Good, LLC. Extra colada this morning. I'm sure that's good. Legal cocaine, bro. That's, Cuban coffee is legal cocaine. It is amazing. GMO and Sean, how about those Panthers, baby? Steven Gonzalez chiming in. Lisa Rose in. Adam says, was that trade for Kachuk last year not the biggest in franchise history? I'm not sure the Panthers would have made it this far without him. Oh, no. There's no. You're right. Biggest trade in Panther history. Yes. By far. It's not even close. The best trade. AH360, a little love on the super chat. Thank you, sir. He says, another reason to dislike Carolina is that they're using our song, Rock You Like a Hurricane. Oh, I got you now. Okay, Canes. All right. But they do have their share of hurricanes over there also. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand that part. But, yeah. And I give them credit. I heard a little Black Sabbath last night. You're playing some Black Sabbath in the arena. That's strong, dude. Yes.
Am I the only one? Every time the Ric Flair "woo" came on, I was like, "woo" in my room.
Well, that was probably you, but not me. But yeah, Frankie Fresco was probably the other one doing that.
There's got to be some on there.
Oh, for sure.
First time I heard it, I was like, woo! I was like, what the hell am I
doing? Oh, by the way, we are here at the beautiful offices of KSDT CPAs. You see the QR code right there on your screen. You can use it. Contact our people here at KSDT. You may not even have to leave your office, your home. You can probably do it all by phone. You can call them at 305-670-3370. Use the QR code. If you're a little late on your taxes, home, business, you're getting a little nervous about that, call them, man. They can help you. They can get an extension for you. For those of you that have a business and you need some help, and they can help you in planning and setting things up, whether you're trying to sell your business, whether you want to plan ahead and looking at what the financial landscape is here going on, you want to fix payroll, you want to make sure that you're maximizing what you're doing in your business. KSDT CPAs can help you do all of those things. It's not just doing your taxes. There's a lot more to it. Healthcare, advisory, they can do all kinds of things to help your business grow. Give them a ring at 305-670-3370 and tell them that Big O sent you. They'll take care of you. Chad says, what's also funny, these followers don't know you. You ain't apologizing for your takes. Oh, no, yeah, that's not who I am. Yeah. Let's see. Big O, I can say being relevant in sports with multiple teams, probably one of the best years for South Florida sports. Keeping it on, my brother. Thank you, sir. And we got 214 right now watching. Please smash the hell out of the like button. Very, very important. But listen, right now, Nova Southeastern University made it to the Final Four and then won the championship in Division II basketball. FAU made it to the Final Four in basketball. UM made it to the Final Four in basketball. Now the Panthers and the Heat have made it to the Final Four of their respective sports. Dolphins made the playoffs, right? If they can stay healthy this year, they probably will make a deeper run this year in the playoffs. And you start to look around South Florida sports. I know Crystal Ball will fix things. I still think this is going to be a rough year for him because it's hard for me to ask him to go from what they had last year to then all of a sudden, hey, let's go challenge Clemson for the ACC title. I think maybe it's a 7-8 win team, but eventually I think in another year, Crystal Ball, I think year 3 and 4 is when we start to really see all of this pay off. You know, it's like I was talking with a friend of mine that, you know, you got to have strong hands in investing because you're going to have your ups and downs. And then if you have conviction in your investment and when it's down, you're going to put even more money when it doesn't make sense because that's when the strong hands make money. The weak hands panic and they sell low and they lose money. The strong hands, if they have conviction, they have the knowledge, they believe in what they're investing in, they buy all the way down because they know when they rebound, they're going to make 10 times more than they would have made if they would have stayed status quo and not invest continuing all the way down because you were nervous. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what it's all about, man. You know, you got to find a way to get things done. Yes, sir.
I was saying what was funny was a month and a half ago.
Oh, we're blowing everything up.
Well, we were like, oh, the Final Four, great. We got FAU, we got UM in there, Nova Southeastern. And then we're gonna have a long off season. Let's go Dolphins!
Right. Yeah.
And now we're sitting here like,
because we didn't expect the we didn't expect the Heat and the Panthers to make any kind of run because they didn't look like that leading into the end of the season. They looked like shit. Let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? I had a little more hope for the Panthers than I did the Heat, so I'm more impressed still by the Heat that they're alive, but I'm more impressed on the Panther run. Because they have taken on the 3 toughest opponents in order to get where they're at right now, which is just ridiculous. Where the Heat, you know, the Knicks are not really nothing special at all. And you got a break at the beginning of the Bucks series with the Giannis injury. That opened the door, and you kicked it in and took advantage, and God bless you. That's what it's all about. Somebody gives you an opportunity, you got to capitalize. And Jimmy Butler's going to cannibalize at that moment. By the way, if your business wants to join our platform, you can reach out to our business line at 786-754-4664. That's 786-754-4664. Great way to get exposure for your business, new customers, great branding, locally, statewide, nationwide, and even internationally, because we got a boatload of countries that are watching and downloading the show, which I am just absolutely amazed at the amount of countries that are constantly tuning in. And we thank you all over the world supporting the platform. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see, what else do we have here? Don't forget the Marlins. And the Marlins, they're 21-19. They're supposed to, 23-21. I know there were 2 games over 500. That's right. 23-21. And they swept the Nationals, which they should. The Nationals are terrible. But they took care of business. Today is Sandy. I know nobody cares because you're going to be watching the Heat and all that. But, man, think about this. You're 2 games over 500 and Sandy's pitched like crap. Absolute garbage. I don't know what's going on with Sandy. Eventually, he'll figure it out, Although Jorge Soler is playing like he wants to be on the Yankees. Since that Yankee report came out a few weeks ago, my man is bopping home run after home run after home run. So we'll see. But yeah, at least the Marlins. I just don't expect them to keep it going. You know what I mean? It's just so hard for them. Well, we'll see. We'll see. But things are good down here. There's no doubt things are good down here right now. Man of 1,000, 5 votes. Thank you for the love on the super chat. He says South Florida sports is returning to greatness. Let's go. I like it. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. And remember, you can make my favorite kind of donation, which is a Bitcoin donation on Cash App or Venmo. Cigar Social says, who do you think has a better chance at the ship, Cats or Heat? I'm going to go Cats because they got past the worst part of it. They got past Boston and then Toronto. So if you can get past Carolina, Vegas and Edmonton are not that much of a challenge. The Denver Nuggets are better than all the teams left in the playoffs. So I can, Boston's one of those that they're kind of flimsy. You just can't trust them at times. So maybe they can get past Boston, but I don't see them beating Denver. Whereas the Panthers, if they beat Carolina, they can definitely beat Vegas or Edmonton. There's no doubt in my mind. Not that it's an automatic. I just think it's an easier road than the Heat beating Denver, dude. The Lakers, that would be different. You know what I'm saying? But I don't expect the Lakers to beat, even though I'm rooting for the Lakers, because that's the only way the Heat actually would have home court advantage in the NBA Finals if the Lakers get to the Finals, because they have a better record than the Lakers. So I'm rooting for the Lakers, but I just can't see it. I don't see Denver's just Jamal Murray yesterday was awesome. Jokic triple-double, right, yesterday? What did he have? 23 points, 17 rebounds, 12 assists, 3 steals. Guy's amazing. So I'll say the Panthers. And I've said this from the beginning, before the playoffs started. I had a little more hope for the Panthers because I think they're the better team. You know what I mean? Like you have Kachuk and you have Butler, right? And then you can tell me Bam and Strus and Vincent and Lowry and all, and I'll take Verhaeghe, Montour, Bennett, Reinhardt, Duclair, Barkov. I'll take that over what supports Butler. What supports Kachuk is way better than what supports Butler. Way better. Okay? I still don't understand where Ira Winderman picked Tyler Hero over Carter Verhaeghe. Like, that makes zero sense to me. One, he's not a better player. Verhaeghe's the better player. And durability, bro. Tyler Hero can't even make it through seasons. Are you kidding me? Like, no. You know what I mean? Verhaeghe is, my God, he's better than Bam. It's more important than Bam. Guy's a stud, bro. He's a finisher. He's a winner. Verhaeghe's a monster, and he proved it last year. He was the only one with ginormous balls in the playoffs. It wasn't Barkov or Hubie. It was Verhaeghe. So yeah, no, I'm going Panthers, man. I like what Kachuk has around him more than what Butler has around him. Frankie says, can you imagine how the Hurricanes must feel losing that game at home with that many overtimes? I hope they get demoralized. Yeah, they were into it too, man. They were into it big time. Dallas Stars. I've been saying Edmonton. You're correct. Dallas Stars. Jesus. My bad. Thank you. Thank you, Carlos. I appreciate you. Two a time. Thank you for the love in the super chat. LeBum faking an injury is why he will never be MJ. Well, he'll never be MJ anyways. It doesn't matter. That discussion has been so dead to a time. Okay? The only one that keeps that discussion alive is the people that think LeBron is the best. And they're completely wrong. He will never hold a candle to Michael Jordan. He's a great, great player. He's one of the best of all time. No argument there with LeBron. He's not Michael. He never will be Michael. He can't be Michael. He's done. Forget about it. He can never do anything that would equal Michael anymore. Michael was too good and too clean of a killer. There's never been any flinching. He doesn't disappear. He doesn't choke. He doesn't do any of that. He chokes your ass out. Whereas with LeBron, you have all kinds of examples of things that he's done, whereas Michael Jordan never shied away from anything, bro. He looked at you in the eye while he was cutting your heart out. He was so ruthless that LeBron James will never, ever be cut from that. LeBron James had to come to the Miami Heat and had to wait to Game 6 of the Boston Celtics series to finally graduate and learn how to win. Whereas Michael Jordan was a killer from the day he was at North Carolina hitting the game-winning jumper for a national championship off the elbow. Michael Jordan was a killer from the get-go. That's why he did what... Did you watch Air? He's the first guy to say, no, yeah, I want a shoe deal, but I want a piece of every shoe that you sell. Nobody had ever done that. Nobody will ever do that until that point. And it was Michael Jordan. By the way, his mom was a first-class badass. If you have Amazon, you can see it for free, Air. I watched it last week. Fantastic movie. Really enjoyed it. Great soundtrack, by the way. So, to a time, that argument is a ridiculous argument by anybody on the LeBron side. Okay? You can't earn being Jordan. He went to 6 titles. He won 6 MVPs. He was the best ever. He went to go play baseball for 2 years and came back and won 3 more titles. Nobody does that, bro. Nobody. Because nobody was wired like LeBron. I mean, like Jordan. Nobody's going to go to a casino till 2, 3 in the morning and gamble his ass off, go through a McDonald's drive-thru, and then come through and score 40 points on your ass and hit the game winner. And by the way, he also stole the ball from your best player in the defensive moments at the end of that game too. That's who Michael Jordan was. Michael Jordan would cut your heart out. Michael Jordan went to the Garden and played his ass off, lost, scored 63 points, but he was with Orlando Woolridge and, Rory Sparrow and, a garbage-ass team, but he didn't care. It wasn't stopping him. And Larry Bird was like, holy crap, this guy's amazing. This is a guy that back in the 80s breaks his foot and comes back at the end of the season to play. Nobody did that in those days. Michael Jordan, bro. Completely different athlete. No whining, no bitching, no complaining, no nothing. He just wanted to cut your heart out. Anyway, LeBron facing the faking injury is why he'll never be MJ. Guy grabbed his ankle when Reeves hit a three-pointer. He popped up with no issues. Nuggets in 5. Yeah. Yep. Flopping. According to Cam, nobody fears Jokic. Well, you better fear his ass because he's hard to stop, dude. Medellin, by the way, Willie is adding to our story of 3. We did talk about Marino at 13, number 3, but you brought up a good point. Drafted in 1983. That's a very good point, Willie. Yep. The Cats look so relaxed and having so much fun. Took game 1 with pizza and Red Bull during one of the OT intermissions. Yeah, I heard about that. In between, you're in overtime and you're in an intermission and you're drinking Red Bull and eating pizza, and then you go out there to skate. Holy crap, dude, you are tough. How are you not throwing up all over the place?
Did you hear the stories of the panel, or were you cutting out when the panel came on during the intermissions? Did you hear them?
Yeah.
The Gretzky was like, I used to send the guy to get hot dogs from the concession stand, but the problem was when overtime hit, concession stand closed, so they would have to get like 2 or 3 of them and wait and put them in the back. He's like, and the other guy was like, we had something that looked like pizza by the time we got to a third overtime, but because all the concessions were closed, they just
right.
It's crazy. That's just.
Yeah.
With everything you have these days, it's Red Bull and pizza.
And you know what? That's kind of weird because you probably, I know it's an expense, but you should probably have a chef waiting for you during the playoffs. Now, you can't do that every regular season game. That'd be stupid. But in the playoffs, you have, an ambulance and a couple of people, waiting EMTs and all that in every game and playoffs, right? Okay, so then do the same thing, bro. Have a chef there. Have a chef that can prepare any kind of meal just in case if you are headed in overtime, and then you'll know for diet purposes, energy and all those kind of things. Instead of a pizza, maybe they can eat something that can give them even better energy or something, or cleaner, for them. And I think that's a well-deserved expense that you should have only during the playoffs. Okay, just during the playoffs. If it happens in the regular season, then eat the cold pizza, bro. Y'all did it in college, didn't you? So there you go. Michael was getting bounced until Scotty came around. Brandon, did you watch or do you know anything about basketball? Anything? Please explain how old are you? Because, that's an incredibly stupid ass statement. You're on double secret probation, by the way. Just so you'll know. Okay? I just told you he wanted in North Carolina. You obviously didn't watch his early career because you're probably too young. So you don't know what the hell you're talking about. And Scotty doesn't become Scotty without Michael. Again, bro, you're on double secret probation. I don't tolerate stupidity here, Brandon. You got it? So watch yourself on whatever you text next. You're probably better off just watching, my man. Okay? You're better off just watching. You got it? You've been warned. Dumbass. Anyway, Jokic is great player. He just looks like a sentient loaf of bread. And what does that matter? Why? Because he plays slow? Do you watch basketball? Was Magic Johnson like Mr. Fast? Or he could just pass fast? But he played the game slow too. Did you watch Adrian Dantley? Did you watch the second half of Moses Malone's career? The one thing that you're going to get on this show that you won't get in a lot of places is perspective. And talk about things in different eras and different kinds of players that brought the same kind of things and they were effective as hell. There's a lot of players that have played like Jokic. It's, Joe Johnson played slow basketball for 20 years. My God, Paul Pierce slowed down to like a snail's pace in his last 8, 9, 10 years. It's like a slow basketball, but it was effective because if you know how to use your body, you can play. But some of you may not understand that. I see Brandon has not chimed in anymore. So, smart move on your part, buddy. When you're not very smart, you don't want people to know you're stupid. So you kind of want to stay quiet. Oh, let's see. What else do we have? Are the Panthers the younger, better conditioned team? Only one day off between the marathons. Wondering if there's an advantage to either team. Eddie, at this point, it's just, character, toughness, guts. Who's got it? I don't think the age or anything at this point is an advantage for one or the other. Right now, it's all here, man. They're all skilled. Now it's here. It's mental toughness and physical, how much you can put up with the beating. You know what I mean? Big O, let's get some Panhandle hot dogs for the Hurricanes when they come down. Now we're talking. Yeah, baby. Joe Perdomo says, watching you live at 4:45 p.m. here in Seville, Spain. Just had to leave Miami. Couldn't stand it anymore. I don't blame you, bro. I don't blame you at all. It's not just Miami. This country is just crap. Democrats and Republicans are just ruining the hell out of this. And all the extremes on both sides. So I don't blame you, dude. I don't blame you. I watch videos all the time of Madeira Island. And I just want to move there. Get away from everything. Mount Rushmore of sports. Ali, Ruth, Jordan, and Brady. Those are some of the people they would put there, I'm sure. The Nuggets are a great team, but I did not see the Lakers play any defense in that game. Miami has defense. Steven, Miami has no defense for Jokic. Jamal Murray is a hell of a player. Porter, they are deep, man. They are deep. So it's not a matter of I don't think Miami's defense is something that is going to slow down Denver that badly. I think Denver's better than Miami, dude. I think you're being a bit of a homer right now. Big O, do you remember Larry Johnson with Grandmama commercial for Cumber? Of course. With the wig and the dress and all that, of course, man. Giovanni says, slept in after working in my shop all yesterday and didn't want to go home until the Panthers won. Didn't want to jinx them. Sorry, I'm late to the chat and bringing up the Cats win. Good morning, all. Never be sorry, Giovanni. Thank you for joining us, my friend. Appreciate all of you out there. And if you are out of the country, I always love hearing, put where you're at watching the show, like my man out in Spain. What else do we have going on? By the way, Central Moving Experts, I see there. Sean Williams, great people, man. Love Sean, good people, work hard, and they do a really good job. They've been, committed supporters of our platform. And when it comes to moving, folks, whether it's locally within your town, inside the county, inside the state, from state to state, across the nation, Essential Moving Experts is there for you. They've got over 1,700 reviews, folks that just give them all kinds of great ratings. This is why you got to check out Essential Moving Experts. He's also a huge Dolphins fan. That's why he's made his company into Dolphin colors. You see it right there. If you need a mover, you can book for $350 right now, 2 hours, 2 men, a 26-foot truck. Or if you need a bigger job, call them, 386-213-4054. I tell you this all the time. If maybe the new office you're moving to, the new home you're moving to may not be ready in another week, 2 weeks, a month, they can hold your stuff up to a month on the house. It's part of the service. Now, if you need it for 2 or 3 months, then you can negotiate and talk about that with Sean. But great people, man. 386-213-4054. Their headquarters in Daytona, but they work the entire country. So it doesn't matter. So if you're moving your home or business, hey, man, use the people that support our amazing platform, Essential Moving Experts, and, of course, a proud sponsor here of the Omar Kelly segment, EssentialMovingExperts.com. All right. Jokic is one of the best passers I've seen. He's so good. Even with LeBron guarding him, Miami would struggle to contain him. Of course, dude. And you can't get around that. Arvydas Sabonis. We got him old after he was in Europe, but he played slow and he was effective as hell. You know what I mean? Alex English was not a quick player, but had one of the sweetest jumpers in the history of mankind. If you left him open on the baseline, Alex English was going to make your ass pay. You know, so anybody that, you know, is talking about Jokic because he's lumbering, you know, that tells me that you know very little about basketball. You have no perspective. You don't really know the history of the game, and you don't understand that part of the game is having players like that. Lots of them that have played slow and lumbering, but they understand how to play so they can get away by being slow and lumbering. Okay? Not every basketball player is quick. Big O, I understand with the Heat having 5 or so undrafted players, but when are they going to just say they are good players? Many undrafted athletes are great players. Many drafts are bums. Yeah, but none of them are great. The only guy that has a potential is Caleb. That's the guy that I think is elevating his game, and maybe he can become one of those guys. But until they're in the league for several years and maybe making an all-star or something, they're not going to call them great players or anything like that. They're going to call them role players, and they're going to say they're amazing accomplishments because they were undrafted. That stigma is going to stay with them until they take it to another level. And right now, they're just role players. You know, they've been solid. And by the way, they're solid role players during this month. It's not like you know, if they were special role players, Jimmy Butler missed a quarter of the season. So if he missed a quarter of the season, why'd you end up in the 8th seed? Oh, because when he misses, you're completely done. And that's the difference. So if you have a couple of injuries, you're supposed to have other players step up, but when they're role players, they're not stars. This is why I tell you Bam is not even a star. We can have that argument all you want. You know, stars can carry teams. And that's not who he is. So Jimmy's the only one that carries on that team. So until those guys start taking that next step, they will be simply role players that are amazing stories because they've stuck to the league without even getting drafted. And that's kind of the way they're going to be looked at, unfortunately. D Wolverine 305 super chat. He says, Big O, you need to ask Sean to have all your videos of you ripping people into one big collage. It's hilarious and makes my day. Well, Sean, by the way, we've had that conversation. I told them to make reels of me ripping people, that you guys love that shit. So what? I never saw a reel of you ripping. You gotta show me that. Where's that at? Add some of the latest ones. Spain is awesome, but getting hungry at siesta time is a problem. Nothing is open. Happened to me in Barcelona. Every business shuttered up at the same time. Uh-oh. What about that, Sean? We can't move to Spain, you and I. Siesta time, we can't get money, bro. I mean, we can't get food. What kind of shit is that? Like everybody, and that happens in several countries. Like they have their siesta and everybody closes down. They work to live, right? Not live to work. Is that what it is, right? Is that how it goes? Let's see. Oh, top of the hour. Let's take a quick break. Hour number 2 is next. Manny Navarro. He should be joining us to start off hour number 2, live from the KSDT CPA offices in Doral.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
It's amazing.
What's up, brother?
Yeah, no, I'm just amazed. My sales guy's willing to go to Broward. Wow, that's awesome. Anyway, how you doing, buddy? You doing good?
I'm hanging in there. Oh, how are you?
I'm doing great. I can't complain, man. Watching the Heat and the Panthers, bro. You know,
Yep.
FAU Final Four, UM Final Four, Nova Southeastern Final Four and title.
Mm-hmm.
Now Panthers and Heat Final Four. There's a lot of Final Four going on here in South Florida.
And a lot of winning, a lot of winning game one on the road for the Panthers and the Heat. They go on the road to take care of business. So kudos to both of those franchises for the ways they've played here in these playoffs. Everybody sort of just discounted them. It's funny, back in the day, you could count on an 8 seed being a quick elimination. Nowadays, anybody who just gets in and gets hot at the right time.
Yeah, and you know, let's call things like we see it. This isn't like this world beater of an Eastern Conference either, you know. It's like it's not like, let's say you're watching Reggie Miller and the Davis boys, and then there's the Cavs with Doherty and Mark Price and Larry Dance Nance and Craig Elo, and then here are the Knicks with Ewing and Starks and Mason, and here's the Heat with Zoe and Timmy, and then there's some guy named Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, you know. So it's just, you know, it's not murderer's row like it used to be. That's why I tell people, like, in the second round when they're facing the Knicks, I'm like, bro, the Knicks aren't anything. Like, Brunson was the only guy that I had real respect for. Outside of that, you know, it's just, you know, where Brunson actually showed me something was I never thought he would be, you know, enough to be a 1. But in that series, he played like a 1 for them at least. That's
he did.
sure. I always looked at him more as a 2 or 3. But I got to give the kid credit, man. He showed me some moxie. But overall, it's just not a great conference right now, you know, at this point. So it's a little bit of a different challenge. And then you don't really get a read in the NBA anymore because there's too much of players resting. You know, that whole
great point.
You know, and that doesn't really give you a good feel. The regular season has always been kind of useless in the NBA. Now it's even worse with load management, you know?
Yeah. And I would say, I think one thing we've seen diminish over time, obviously, is defense. And part of that is the rule changes, right? Yeah. But you just look at the way, I mean, some of these games, the fact that they all get into the 120s and 130s, yes, the three-point shot has changed the game. But I also think there are a lot of nights where guys take nights off playing defense. And it's turned into a make or miss league. Literally, you make shots, you win, you miss them, got no shot. So,
yep, I'm with you there. By the way, Isais, thank you, sir. A Bitcoin donation to the show. We love that. Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. You can send a donation and you can send a Bitcoin donation, which is always a beautiful thing. So thank you, Isais. Appreciate that. Manny, I asked Marcel this question. I will ask you this question. Now, I know it's slightly unfair because it's a little too early. So the question maybe for you will be just like Marcel, because it's too early. Do you see some signs, or is it even too early for that? Well, the Miami Heat 25 years ago, when Pat Riley stepped in, he instilled a culture that has gone on for 25 years, just like Don Shula, by the way. So let's not make this sound like this is something new or something. You know, Popovich had his culture and Shula had his culture. Just like a lot of the great coaches, there's a culture. And a culture is, you know what you have to do. You know what your responsibility is. Be a professional because they're going to force you to live up to that responsibility. That's basically what culture is. You know what I'm saying? But we watched others establish it. Where in Mario Cristobal's world right now do you see him establishing a culture that, of course, the Canes desperately need? That's what Saban has going. That's what Dabo Swinney has had for many years now. You know, other coaches that have been going on for a while. Where is Cristobal in trying to establish his own culture?
Yeah. Well, I certainly think from a work ethic standpoint and, you know, working out the entire off season, putting your focus where it needs to be, recruiting the kind of players that have the right mindset. All of those things are things he's prioritizing. But to me, the one tangible thing you can see is the size, the way he's recruiting players in terms of size up front and making that an important priority. I think, that comes from the Saban school at Alabama. Just they won't go after really small guys unless they're special. And I think the last few years at Miami, most of us who watched them line up and play against the teams, we were always like, man, they always look so small, right? Compared to the guys they're lining up against, especially the big time teams. And I think, a culture of you're not going to play here unless you really deserve to play here because you have the right size, the right effort, all of those kind of things. That culture, I think he's establishing here early on. But at some point, he's going to have to start winning some games, and going 5-7, that first year, sometimes that message can grow hollow if you do that again year number 2 or year number 3, right? If you just go back to being mediocre or sub 500. So,
although I don't think they win more than 7 or 8 games this year, I still think this is a transition year for them, to be honest. I think I don't expect difference till years 3 and 4, to be quite honest. I have enough patience, but I can't expect as bad as you were last year that you're going to make that kind of drastic change and jump to 10 wins all of a sudden. I have a hard time believing that. I don't think that's fair to him to have those kind of expectations. Now, I know the average Canes fan does not want to hear 7-8 wins. So
yeah. I think part of it is the way you win and lose too, right? We get caught up in win totals. Really what you want is a program to win the conference and to be competing for a playoff spot every year. That's the real goal. I don't see a big difference between 7 and 9 wins. You get to 10 wins, that's a different mark. But between 7 and 9, I think the difference is, do you get your ass handed to you? Do you get embarrassed? Mario has to eliminate the getting embarrassed part of this equation. You can't go and lose to Florida State 45-3. You can't lose at home by 24 to Duke. You can't, get beat by Middle Tennessee. All of those things have to disappear here in year number 2. And I think anytime you have a setback like that, it causes problems in the locker room. It causes problems with recruits. So to me, that's the next part of quote unquote culture that you brought up. It's can you basically eliminate what hurts your program? And I think he's still there. He's still working his way there. So I'm hoping here in year 2, that's where they get to, where if you get beat by Clemson, it's not by 30 points. It's a touchdown game in the fourth quarter. If you get beat by Texas A&M, who's loaded with talent, it's not a 3 touchdown game. Those are the things that matter, I think, from a perception standpoint, and count almost as much as a victory. You can go 9-3, but if all 3 of those losses are blowout losses, that can be really embarrassing. You go 7-5, but all 5 of those losses are to good teams. There's different ways you can sway that argument in the locker room, and I think that he needs to get rid of the embarrassing defeats more than anything else.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely, and especially against bad teams. Those were the worst ones. But what do you expect? You're not really expecting a big total wins this year.
No, I still think I think this is a 7 to 8 win team.
Okay, so you agree with me. Okay.
Depending on, who they play in a bowl game and all that kind of stuff. I think that's what's gonna, you need a little bit of momentum going into year 3. You'd like
I can't wait for you to write that article. I can imagine the Canes fans are just going to want to light their laptops on fire when they read that thing.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to be happy with that. But I think we have to be realistic, unfortunately. Any news on transfers or anything going on the recruiting side?
Well, it's going to be a busy month of June. I mean, all these kids have been announcing, who will be visiting in the month of June. They've got about 3 or 4 different 5-star kids that want to come down and check out the program. Again, they've been here already on campus a few times, but when they actually follow up with an official visit, I think odds are better that you're really in play for them. So that's basically been it. They had a couple of transfers that they really liked. One of them was a safety who had played for Lance Guidry at Marshall. and followed him to Tulane. He ended up going to LSU, not Miami. They were looking for a little bit more safety depth there. They had a linebacker that they were in on from North Texas. I think he's headed to the SEC somewhere as well. So, you're not going to get all the transfers. And I think that's why conversations about the conference and the future and, the quote unquote power to the SEC and Big Ten, those are all big conversations because when you
nothing's changed since we talked to you, right? There's
no
legal development, no legal loophole that they found to get out of this, right?
But I think from a perception standpoint, the more this is brought up, that the Big Ten and the SEC have all the money, and this is, there's going to be a $30 to $40 million gap year to year until the ACC figures something out or the teams break apart. I think all of that it's negative publicity for where Miami plays, and that's going to hurt them on the recruiting trail. That's going to hurt them in the transfer portal. It's going to hurt them in just public perception. So, yeah, we'll see where that goes. But look, I think, just as a follow-up to our conversation from earlier this week on Tuesday when I was up in Chicago regarding the ACC, I think the one thing Miami fans and everybody who's a ACC fan needs to just come to grips with is being in the third best conference might be your biggest victory. You don't want the Big 12 to surpass you, and the Big 12's TV deal is being discussed and all that kind of stuff, and they've got. They could potentially surpass the ACC by 2030. So that to me is a bigger deal. And when the league breaks up and all that stuff, I honestly, I said this to you on Tuesday, I don't think till 2030. I don't think we'll see any real movement again till the Big Ten has to have a reason to want to add some teams from the ACC, especially if they're getting their asses handed to them every year by the SEC. So in terms of all that movement, all that speculation, it's great for headlines. It gets people to click on it. People love to talk about it. But the reality is I just want people who tune into our show to know what's real and what's not. And the reality is I don't think you'll see anything happen until around 2030.
All right. What are you working on the Athletics so folks can check you out, my friend?
First of all, there's a ton of stuff on there. We did a fun project, all the writers, where we kind of created questions where we would be able to ask all the Power 5 coaches with truth serum. They'd have to answer it honestly. So I had one, of course, for Mario. I had one for Mike Norvell. I wrote the one for UCF as well, Gus Malzahn, since they're joining a quote unquote Power 5 conference now. So and we had
Mario eyeing the NFL.
I don't think Mario would eye the NFL. I don't think that's necessarily for him. He's had a couple of opportunities and
I just don't think he'd ever leave this place.
I think this is his dream job.
I think his dream is to get the Canes back to being,
it's a huge responsibility.
And I think for the first time ever, they found a coach that really doesn't want to use this as a stepping stone. So that's why I really want Mario to work out, because I think Mario's one of those guys like Larinaga. He's happy here. I'm fine, dude. I don't really need anything more. I got my family. I love being in Miami. I love my cotadito. I love, coaching football, all that stuff. And I love the U. And so really, if you're a Canes fan, this is the coach you want to succeed, because some of you will get to grow old with him. And that's actually pretty cool.
And I would say one aspect to this all for Mario is the amount of pressure that he feels to deliver to his teammates. He was a part of when this was the glory days. It's not like Manny Diaz. Manny Diaz never suited up here. Mark Richt wasn't a part of the championship tradition here. It's kind of like Randy Shannon. Randy Shannon played on those championship teams. He coached on those championship teams. It means more to Mario for all that. And so I don't think we'll ever see him make the jump to the pros, to be honest.
Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Read that article. It's got some juicy stuff and some fun stuff you will love. And catch him twice a week here doing his thing with our Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes report. Manny, as always, thank you, my friend. Appreciate you.
Good talking to you. Take care, buddy.
Have a great weekend. There you go. Canes Wear, baby. 2511 South University Drive in Davie. They've got everything practically with a logo on it, with a Canes logo. telling you, it's awesome. They got Heat stuff and they got Panther stuff. You got the playoffs going on right now, man. Go down. They got some killer Heat hats and they got great Panther hats. You got to go check it out there at 2511 South University Drive. They got Marlins gear too. They've got Inter Miami gear. Got a bunch of stuff also on sale. You could take advantage. Go see Jeff out there. They'll take care of you. Brett is amazing. He has grown this thing into a monster. They're actually moving a couple of stores down to an even bigger store. It seems like every couple of years they just grow so much that they've got to go to a bigger shop. It's really impressive. So check it out for yourself. 2511 South University Drive in Davie. That is Manny Navarro.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
What do we got? Tipsy here. Brandon, when Jordan left for baseball, Scotty took the Bulls to the final by himself, so I agree with you. When LeBron leaves a team, they don't even make the playoffs. The Heat made it to the finals in the bubble without LeBron. The Heat had made it to the Eastern Conference Finals 3 out of the last 4 years without LeBron. So I'm not sure what you're talking about. Just because it's Cleveland shows you don't know shit about basketball. And he says, today is a different NBA. Jordan wouldn't be Jordan in today's game. Old heads can't get over that Jordan played bums as competition. The Indiana Pacers with Reggie Miller and the Davis boys. Brother, you're like 25 years old. You've got 3 hairs on your balls. You know nothing about sports. You're a schmuck and you're a punk ass that knows nothing. Okay? Get lost. You'll never comment here again. Go open another email account so I can block your stupid ass. Just get lost, bro. Clown ass. Love these guys that know nothing about sports. Hey, just because you were born in 2000, you know nothing about sports. You're a neophyte. You should maybe listen more here so you can actually learn something about sports. Jordan played in the toughest era in the history of basketball in the 80s when there were like serious redwood trees in the middle that would knock your ass down. Anyway, I don't really know how you can prove. Oh, I don't know what that means. I'm more amazed at you saying, oh, okay, well then, 2 a time. Why you're even paying attention to that guy is, he's just a troll and an idiot. Let's see. Okay, that's everybody else. I'm comparing Jordan to DeMar Rosen. Just that's right there is where you don't even belong anywhere on this platform. Oh, we got a super chat. Where is it at here? AH360. Thank you for the love on the super chat. He says, "Oh, you guys got to stop talking about overtime food, or Hockman and Crowder won't have any new content for the show today." Those guys do a good job. They just screw around. It's not a sports show, but they do a good job with all that silly ass talk. Yeah. If you're into overtime food, that will definitely be a good show for you. It's funny because Crowder does like real sports talk on I Am Athlete. And then on this one, he just gets to coast and hang out and pull an easy check. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. Oh, man. Any Dolphins news today? No, there's nothing. And I'm not forcing things. I don't do that kind of stuff. That's for, other websites that they got to create all kinds of controversy to get you guys to watch something that has no news value to it. You know what I mean? And I just don't do that. I can't. It's not my style. So there's nothing to talk about Dolphins-wise. I would love to tell you something about the Dolphins and something, it's actually important, but there's nothing. Inter Miami, by the way, tomorrow, 7:30, Lone Depot Park. No, Drive Pink Stadium, I'm sorry. Orlando City and Inter Miami. Well, they should have played there, right? Actually, it probably should have ended up there when it's all said and done. Marlins complete the sweep against the Nationals tonight. That's at Lone Depot Park. No, it's at Oracle, actually. They're in San Francisco. So it's a 10:15 start. Will Sandy bounce back? I'll be able to watch some of that, right? Because the Heat will be done by like 11. I would imagine. It starts at 8:30, right? The Heat? Yeah, 8:30. So it'll be done around 11. So I'll be able to watch a little bit of them. I'll have the Marlins game on the side TV for the hell of it. But I hope Sandy pitches well tonight, man. He has not pitched well in a while. Music-wise, Smith bassist Andy Rourke passes away yesterday from pancreatic cancer at the age of 59. Sad story. Hate that cancer, huh? Jesus, it affects all of us, right? One way or another, we've all lost family members, friends, and we can't figure that thing out. It is frustrating. Oh, I have Dolphins news for you guys. I mean, wait a minute. I'm shocked, Sean, that it hasn't. I'm shocked that they're not on the chat board screaming. I'm shocked that there aren't like hundreds of people outside the KSDT offices saying, "Oh, we need this guy." No? You have no idea? The Cleveland Browns are putting Harrison Bryant on the trade block because they made Njoku the highest paid. And Bryant is a tight end. And he played for who? FAU. Who? The Owls. So where are all the Miami people? Oh, we gotta bring him here. We gotta have him here. He's not a bad player, by the way. I like him. I like Harrison Bryant. Is he the blocker that they need?
Still not a blocker, huh?
No.
See, I thought you were talking about somebody else.
Who do you think I was talking about?
Preston Williams got released from the 90-man roster. I thought bring him back, baby.
I saw that.
Run it back.
I mean, this is not a very smart young man. I mean, he came back to the Dolphins with a loaded receiver roster. Like how does he and his agent, where did they decide that he had any kind of a shot to make the Dolphins roster? Remember, I've lost a lot of hope for Preston once I knew he was backing Doge. Then I knew he's not very smart and doesn't do his homework because, when I have people backing meme coins, it's just, I don't have a lot of respect for you as a guy that takes crypto seriously and invests seriously and looks into these companies. I got to tell you. So, yeah, Harrison Bryant is available for trade now. There you go. I am so surprised that when we started the show, there wasn't all these Harrison Bryant texts all over the place. Oh, Harrison Bryant, he was great at FAU. Hoot, we need him here. We need a tight end. He's the second coming. Cleveland doesn't know what they're doing. I'm shocked. I was expecting a lot of love for Harrison Bryant out there on the trade block now. They're what? Oh, maybe they're tired of the tight end talk? Okay. Ray says he played for my FAU. Oh my God, trade our first round pick for him ASAP. Yeah, this year we do, thanks to we'll see. Stephen Ross still has plenty of time to screw us over with a first round pick next year. So, since 560 will be will not be around too long, Crowder at least has the Pivot podcast. They'll be around a little bit more. They'll survive just a little bit more. Let me tell you something. I can see where that station eventually ends up disappearing. And sports bounces all over the place and different stations and all that. I could see where that happens. I mean, they're going to file for bankruptcy. I mean, they're I've read you the stuff that goes on with that. That company is like it didn't circle the drain. It is down the drain already. It's like getting closer to the sewer already. Yeah, it's bad, man. It's bad. And if you work there, you should have alternate plans. If you don't, well, good thing for Crowder. He's got the alternate plan. He's got plenty of money in the bank, and he's got I Am Athlete. So he is set. Or Pivot. Pivot is his, right? Pivot. So, yeah. Big O, someone said Heat Nuggets series would be the worst NBA fans ratings ever. Well, yeah, it's not sexy. Yeah. I get that. I can understand why people say it may not be, because we have to take our glasses off and put it in a national perspective or worldwide perspective. Yeah, Denver isn't sexy to the average people. Yeah, I get it. And Miami doesn't. Miami has one star. That's it. So yeah,
it's like the same thing with the Stanley Cup. No blue bloods are left.
Yeah,
it's all right. Vegas has been there before.
Right. Yeah. No, you're right.
It's all.
Yeah. No, you're right. Gordon says Harrison Bryant. The Finns need to sign him now. We need him. With the Dalvin Cook trade and Preston Williams coming back, we will be unstoppable. Gordon's right on that, boy. You had Preston Williams, you really are going to become unstoppable. Yeah. Oh, Nyborg, thank you very much. Let's do this. The Miami Marlins yesterday completed the sweep of the Washington Nationals. That means they deserve a victory cigar. The way, don't forget 57th Avenue and the Palmetto. Get out there to Perdomo Cigars. You're going to love the experience at Perdomo Cigars, man. I'm telling you. Why? Because they've got every cigar out there. The humidor is loaded. They've got a beautiful lounge so you can hang out and enjoy that cigar. You might even meet Nick Perdomo hanging around. Nick Jr. might be hanging around. Even if Arthur is around, bother him. They got great people out there, man. Really, they're just a phenomenal family and a great cigar company because there are so many great cigars. So if you have never been to a cigar factory, you have one right here in Miami. Okay? And, who knows? Maybe they'll give you a little bit of a tour and you can go out and check out the millions of cigars that they've got going on in that factory there. And we got to give a victory cigar to the Florida Panthers. Fire away. And Florida Panthers got it done last night, baby. Awesome. We got to give them a victory. Do we give them 3 more for the overtime? Let's go. 1 more. Here we go for the second overtime. Third overtime where I started to kind of fall asleep a little bit. Fire away. Another victory cigar for the 4th and final overtime for the Florida Panthers. A final cigar to Matthew Tkachuk, who got the game winner with seconds left in the 4th overtime, which would have led us to the 5th overtime. And I don't know if I am able to show up if I have to stay up for 5 overtimes. But victory cigar goes to Matthew Tkachuk. And you know what? Little Bill Zito in there for making that trade. Fire away. Love it. Good stuff, man. And if you haven't been to the retail store here in Miami. You should check it out off of 57th Avenue in the Palmetto. Beautiful place, man. Perdomo Champagne rocks. It does, doesn't it? The champagne cigar is smooth. It's got this flavor. And the thing about Connecticut wrappers and Connecticut cigars, right? When they've got a Connecticut wrapper and it's a light blend, sometimes the flavor is not all the way through. Halfway it starts tasting like a leaf or burnt, and it doesn't taste good because it loses its flavor. That's what I love about the champagne. That thing is flavorful all the way to the end, man. And always great. The construction of those cigars are impeccable, so the pull is constant throughout, so you never have any issues either, man. Perdomo cigars, just absolutely awesome. Tua Time says, now my Twitter feed will be filled with Brian tweets instead of Dalvin Cook. R.I.P. Doyle Brunson. What is Doyle Brunson? Who is Doyle Brunson? I'm sorry, I don't know who Doyle Brunson is, Big Bob. Oh, okay. Big Bob's a huge crypto guy. He and I go back and forth all the time. He's a very, very smart crypto guy. He knows his stuff, dude. So Doyle Brunson is a famous pool player, you said? Oh, poker player. Okay. Okay. I don't know anything. I'm not a poker guy, so I would not know Big Bob, but RIP to Doyle Brunson, man, and his family, obviously. Nyborg says, speaking of trades, the Finns didn't make Deshaun Watson, and some of the Browns' offensive players are headed to Puerto Rico for workouts and bonding. Yeah, they actually provide great massages in Puerto Rico, so I can see why Deshaun Watson wants to go there. I was listening to Poop and Omar podcast. Man, they're negative about the Dolphins. Sean, a big shout out to superstar Billy Graham. May he rest in peace. The televangelist was also a wrestler? Superstar Billy Graham? I'm sorry, Lord. I have sinned, Lord. So Billy Graham was also a wrestler and
no, he was the man of the hour, the man with the power. He was superstar Billy Graham.
That sounds like very televangelist right there to me. So you're telling me on Sundays when Billy Graham was just like, talking crap there on the television, I should have stayed watching because he was going to wrestle after?
No.
No?
Not that Billy Graham.
Not that Billy Graham. All right.
No. This Billy Graham is the...
So then I did good tuning out Billy Graham, by the way. Was it Billy Graham the one that got busted for doing something that he was like crying on television and apologized? Was it Billy Graham? I forgot. It's one of... They're all the same to me. I don't really, Anyway. But somebody help me out. I don't know. Billy Graham was he? It looks exactly like the televangelist. That's the guy I used to see, all the time.
Oh, my God.
That's the guy that just was saying, that's the guy that was spreading the word of the Lord and then spreading the basket so you can drop in a couple of bucks. I love those televangelists. The Lord needs your money. And then he's flying away in a jet to a mansion with 40 rooms. Big O, is Perdomo cigar good if I make a blunt from it? I've never tried it, so I don't know. You're going to have to. How about this? Go get one and then try it and then tell me. Okay? And if you're going to get one, get the 10th anniversary or the 20th anniversary Maduro because the leaf is rich. So try it with that. Okay? And then tell me how it went for you. Okay, I never understand you blunt people because it's a cigar. You're not supposed to inhale it. So you want to get a cigar wrapper and then wrap weed with a cigar wrapper and then inhale the cigar wrapper along with the weed. Doesn't make sense. You're not supposed to do that. Cigar is not for inhaling. It's for savoring and then letting it out. You're not supposed to inhale cigar smoke. So that's kind of dangerous, even more dangerous than just normally smoking. And then, not the weed part, but the tobacco leaf part doesn't make sense. I don't understand that when I see people hitting those blunts. But hey, man, it's a free world. If that's what you want to do and that's what floats your boat, go for it. Some people go out with Kardashians. Others use tobacco leaves as for joints. Well, you can play with your life however you want. Rest in peace to AEW for starting another 2-hour show when they can't fill their 1-hour show with good content. Is that true or something? Because you're laughing. So that was a good joke or something? Was that a good joke? I don't know. I don't know. I'm laughing. I'm just smiling.
It's one of those things where I'm gonna have to wait and see how this plays out.
Okay.
Because their ratings are good for what they're doing, but to get another 2-hour show, it's pretty. Let's put it this way: their last AEW show was outdrawn by the Hulk Hogan documentary versus, was it Gawker?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that the documentary outdrew the AEW show.
Okay.
On the ratings.
Okay. All right. Pat in Nashville says, was at a poker game last year and a guy, a Swede, took a full flavor cigar from the host. He was not a cigar smoker. He was puking within 30 minutes. Didn't help that he was also a drunk. Yeah. Yeah, Pat. You cannot. And by the way, Pat in Nashville is a great dude. Hung out with him the other night at the Crowded House concert in Raleigh. Yeah, if you're not a cigar smoker, you have no business smoking full body cigars. None. Okay? None. Do not do it. It's not a good move for you. It will not turn out well for you if you do that. It will make your stomach turn and you're definitely going to vomit. Let me see. Am I a little late to the party, but can't agree more about Air. It was amazing, and I kept talking about was the soundtrack. Yeah, the soundtrack was awesome. Yeah, it was great music. Ray says he committed adultery, LOL. So it was him, right? It was him. Jimmy Swagger got his hand caught in the cookie jar. Oh, it was Swagger, not Graham. Graham and Olstein are all the same. Yeah, they're all those guys are all phonies. Knight, thank you for the love in the super chat. He says Billy Graham was Hogan before Hogan. That is a waste of cigar, though. Don't do that. Well, you know how it is. Billy Graham lived near Asheville in a fairly modest home. Believe it or not, Bono once visited him there. Really? Okay. Thug life smokers. Karen says, not sure if you missed my comment yesterday, but Jimmy Butler is 33 years old. I did miss it. Nice one, Karen. I did not realize that was good. Yeah, when does he turn 34? Yeah. That's good. That's good. Perdomo weed blunt. Use a bong. Exactly, dude, 67, right? Much cleaner. Chad says, I'm a glass guy when it comes to weed. Always go with the bong. Definitely the cleanest way outside. Exactly. Outside of a volcano vape. Holy shit, you guys are getting hardcore on me now. What the hell is a volcano vape? Okay. Isai says, I'm old school. Give me some 1.5 jobs, and they are called white boys. Waste of good weed ruins the taste. Boy, we got a lot of weed connoisseurs out there. You gotta love it. Amazing win by the Panthers last night. We're talking this crap. We're taking this damn cup. Yes, we're talking this crap. 2 hours of CM Punk Sean on Saturday. Sounds like a lot of fun. Now Jimmy Baker and Tammy. Now, see, those are real televangelists. Those people were honest as hell. They never use your money for any kind of negativity. They never, what's it called? Swap wives. They never did any of that kind of stuff. On your banner, Perdomo cigars are treated or treated 93 by cigar. Yes, rated by Cigar Journal, but yes, not rated. AEW literally created a show to appease the talent that don't get along with the rest of the locker room. I can't make this up. Dude, I was poor. Aluminum foil bowls were normal. You guys are a trip, man. You guys are an absolute trip. All right. When sports and business collide, we like doing something called the KSDT CPA Sports Business Report. You worked for somebody that was willing to, I don't know, lock you out of your hotel room. Imagine if you were working for somebody that didn't pay you. Imagine if you worked for somebody that you had to somehow chase down to get paid. Well, this happens a lot to Antonio Brown and the Albany Empire. Well, the former NFL receiver and current clown-ass fool, he could be returning to football now. Brown owns the Albany Empire and recently told Roger Wyland of WNYT TV that he'll play in an upcoming game. Brown plans to play in a game he'll debut soon as May 27th. He last played football in January of 2022 with the Buccaneers. He was basically fired during a game after refusing to play due to an ankle injury. He has not signed with another NFL team since being released by Tampa Bay. Or is it that no team will ever sign him since he left Tampa Bay? The Empire, by the way, has generated plenty of chaos since Brown became the sole owner of the team. He has denied that he owns the team while also claiming that he's a foreign national, despite no proof to support the idea that he was not born in the United States. He was born in Florida. What are you talking about? Anyway, so this moron now, and this is all someone who just needs the attention. That's it. And can you imagine? He's just going to go to the huddle and say, just throw it to me. Throw it to me. Throw it to me. I pay your bills. I pay your salary. Throw it to me. Sad. This guy has serious mental issues. And he, besides not being very smart, because he's definitely not very smart, but he also has some mental issues. And this is just ego. This is a guy that has ruined his ride in the NFL and now is going to settle for playing for the Albany Empire, which he probably thought he'd play anyways from the day he bought it. But to see that he may, I mean, I'd hate to be a player on that team or coach. And, you know, you got to have a job. And, brother, you got to work for that dude. Are you kidding me? Who the hell would want to work for Antonio Brown? Crazy, man. Anyway. So, KSDT CPA, that is your KSDT CPA Sports Business Report.
This has been the KSDT Sports Business Report. KSDT CPA is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax and accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit online at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
All right. This run by the Panthers, by the way, I do want to, where this run means so much more than what happened in the 90s. You know, what happened in the 90s was fun. It was an exciting time. You're fresh off the expansion years, and you
all of a sudden catch lightning in a bottle. Just a couple of years in the league, and you catch lightning in a bottle, and you end up in the Stanley Cup Finals. And were you the best team in the league? No. Were you a gritty, tough team? Yes. Did you have a goaltender that was absolutely red hot in the beezer? Yes. And then you ended up running into an incredibly skilled team in Colorado and throttled you 4-0. And that was awesome, right? This is even better because this is real. What happened in the 90s was novelty. What's happening right now in 2023 is all part of a franchise that has now gone to the playoffs 4 straight years. They had never done that in their existence, ever. Since the early 90s when they were when they came to existence, was it 93 for the Panthers, I want to say? Something like that. Right? So it was the Heat was 88. Marlins. I think it was right around the same as the Marlins. I want to say around 92, 93. I want to say 93. Maybe I'm wrong. But since then, you went to a couple of playoffs, but never even in a row that many years. And now you've made it 4 years in a row. Last year, you made it to the second round. You hadn't made it to the second round since you made it to the Stanley Cup. But the tangible part about all of this is that you have legitimate players on this team. It's not journeymen that are hanging on to a moment in their lives that they'll never have again. Matthew Tkachuk can be here again next year. And so can Barkov. And so can Reinhart and Bennett and Verhaeghe and Montour and Gudis and all these because they're good enough. And that's the beauty of what's going on right now and why this is actually special and why you shouldn't treat it like the novelty it was in the 90s. Was that right? 93? So in 93, 96 was the year they went to the Stanley Cup. 3 years after you came to existence. Novelty. See, Vegas, they had early success, but they maintained it. So it became a novelty right away for Vegas. But then as they continued to come back again and again and again to the playoffs and make some deep runs, and again, here they are in the Western Conference Finals. That sets you up. All of a sudden, you have to look at it differently. So for the Panthers in the 90s, it was a cute little thing. It was a nice novelty. It was great. They made it. It was fun, all of that. This is real, man. Enjoy this because they are in the one thing I got to give Zito a lot of credit. Since he's taken over, all he's done is make the team better and better. And then he made a drastic change last year, and they stuck to it. They stuck to their guns. They believed in what was happening, and eventually it has paid off for them. And as Poupart has said on this show a couple times, now they're playing the kind of hockey that allows you to make deep runs into the playoffs. This is not the novelty of the 90s. This is not something that it's a standalone thing and you got lucky and all that kind of stuff. This is a really, really good team. And hopefully next year, you'll have a healthy team right from the get-go, which you did not have a healthy team the entire season pretty much up until the end. Well, if you're going to have a healthy team and start next year, you'll probably end with a, stronger finish than you did this year, which at least you had enough to get you in the playoffs so you can showcase your skills. Think about this. You knock out the Bruins, you knock out Toronto, and you're already leading, 1-0 here against Carolina, who's favored to win. Simply amazing. Simply amazing. That is your KSDTCPA. Oh, no? What did I do there? Oh, no, that was just talking about the Panthers. That's it. Just talking Panthers. But anyway, so good stuff, man. I just wanted to kind of run that by you guys because, some of you out there that don't follow it and follow it casually,
you might reminisce about what happened in the 90s. And that was fun, but that's nothing like what this is now. This team is 1,000 times better than that team. Beezer's the only thing better than this one. Bob is playing Beezer-like last night and in the last couple of series. He's done really well, but Beezer was a freaking stud, dude, all the time. Yes, sir.
No, so you got me. I thought I fell asleep from you.
Yeah,
I dozed off and I was like, wait, did I not play?
Yeah. Jim and Tammy funneled funds from the construction of evangelical Disneyland Jim envisioned. The project was on track and would have succeeded without the embezzlement. Are you sure it would have succeeded? Big O, has Sean done any merch for the Big O show? No, it's all Sean's fault. Yeah, let's blame Sean. What's that? Make a sick one with the vintage Dolphins logo with your logo. No, I can't do the Dolphins logo. Like a similarity of it? Oh, you mean mix the Dolphin inside the Big O thing? That's kind of what I'm thinking. Okay. That might not be a bad idea. We can probably do something like that. Yeah. All right, let's take a break. Hour number 3. Cameron Wolf will join us now at noon. And then Gary Washburn is going to join us at 12:30 from the Boston Globe, national NBA writer. He covers the Celtics, columnist. We've had him on many times. Good dude. Gary Washburn will join us. So we got Cam Wolf and Gary Washburn coming up in hour number 3, live from the KSDT CPA studios, offices in Doral. Oh, David. So here we are. I wanted to show you the backyard again because we had some trouble last time, but CuttersEdgePro.com does some amazing stuff, and there are the boys and the girl. They're having fun. There we go. Right, Maiden? Right, Bono? There we go. They're having fun. I'm having fun. Look at our Sylvester palm. It is beautiful. We got another one in the front yard like that. You can take your home and landscaping to the next level. And the artificial turf, look at that. Look at that. The 2 dinosaurs going at it, huh? Look at that. Gotta love the dinosaurs. Look at them. They like to bite each other's legs. That's what they do. They play with each other, and then they bite each other, and they piss each other off. It's fun. One is Bono, which is the one farther away from you, and Maiden. She's the girl right here. She's a badass. That's for sure. So anyway, see the flowers are coming out. Very nice. CuttersEdgePro.com, folks. This big tree there will start budding that I'm showing you there soon. It'll have all kinds of flowers. I'll post another video and I'll show it to you. This is a backyard where everybody gets to hang out. Over there in the corner there, I put the barbecue and cook. So that way it's the farthest away from the house, If I light myself on fire or somebody else, we're out in the corner away from everybody. There you go. So you can get some flowers coming out, which is a beautiful thing. And I swear by this artificial turf, it always looks phenomenal. I don't have to cut it. I don't have to water it. And so I'm saving a lot of money, hundreds and thousands in the long run because I'm not watering or, of course, cutting the grass. And here in South Florida, we cut the grass like every 10 to 14 days.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
When you move, When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com. Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Of the program, ready to rock and roll, baby. What is hour number 3? I'm sorry, hour number 3. I'm short on I'm short on rest here. The fact that I'm still doing this show today and yesterday, it's amazing. I got to tell you, amazing. Because I am hurting city, baby, hurting city right now. I'm a hurting and a hurting. That's for damn sure. Wow. We are waiting for Cam Wolf, by the way. Hopefully Cam will join us shortly here, and we'll get him on, and we'll have some fun with Cam. Let's see what we got here on the chat board. Any important questions here? Big O, can you ask Cam if he wants to take back his nobody? Okay, we will ask. There he is. It is time to unleash the Wolf Pack.
We unleash the Wolf Pack as we get the latest in the NFL and the Miami Dolphins with our KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL Network insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolf.
Oh, what's up, man?
life of itself now, or what's the deal, bro? How you doing, my man?
What's up, Bo? How you doing, man?
Good. They're already taking you to task. They want to know if you want to walk back your statement that nobody fears Nikola Jokic.
Of course they are. No, I don't. Because my statement had nothing to do with how good Jokic is as a player. He's one of the top 3 or 4 best players in the world. My thing is based on defensive game plans and how you go about stopping him. He's not the imposing force that a Embiid or a KD or these type other guys are. He impacts the game in different ways. And so
he is a force, bro. He scores 30 points every night.
He's a heck of a player.
So
maybe nobody fears was a heavy phrase. So I'll walk that back a little bit.
Dude,
I will say that
the guy had 23 points, 17 rebounds, 12 assists, 3 steals, dude.
I hear you.
That's not
so
AD after scoring 40 points, he laid an egg last night. He 18 points.
Here's how I will put Jokic in NFL terms, and I think this will relate well to Dolphins fans. Jokic to me is Tua when healthy last year, right? Where he is a very, very good player, and he can lead the league in passing rating like Tua did, but the outside public, the national opinion of Tua was not of the level of a Josh Allen, a Patrick Mahomes. Now, we still think Tua is a very good quarterback. Jokic is a very good player, but I think perception goes along with the idea of fear. And so the perception,
because people don't know what the hell they're talking about. I don't care.
Right, but that's perception, right?
Yeah, perception. But Jokic is a badass, bro.
Right, and I agree. But the perception of Jokic is different because of the style he plays in. The perception of Tua is different because of the style he plays. Tua's not going to run around in the pocket for 5 seconds and throw a ball 75 yards in the air and get this highlight reel throw. He doesn't need to do that to succeed. Jokic is not going to, cross a dude up, shoot a 3 falling away from 30 feet out. That's not going to be his game for a highlight, but he doesn't have to do that. And so my whole point is the whole fear of defending a player is we play a great defense and he does something superhero regardless. Jokic, you have to pick your poison. Do you want Jokic to score 30, 40 points, or do you want him to kill you in the assist game? And too often teams pick the middle ground, and he does both. And so
he's super skilled,
his thing is that he's a skilled, complete player.
Yeah.
He's probably the most complete.
Defensively, he's not a shot.
Correct. Correct. But I'm talking about his offensive game.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
His offensive game.
He's
complete. He's a three-phase player, as a scorer, as an assist guy, as a rebounder.
Easy.
And so it's hard to take away something on his game.
Oh no, you can't. That's why he's a great player.
But I'd also argue that he's maybe not other than passing, but he's not the best in any of his particular traits. He's not the best scoring big man. He's not the best defending big man. He's not the best rebounding big man. He's probably the best passing, but he is so good. He's probably top 5.
He's easily the best passer.
Right, but he's a top 2 or 3 scoring big man. He's probably a top 2 or 3 rebounding. So
isn't he the most complete offensively?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that he's the most dominant. I mean, I would argue that.
If you want to, for argument's sake, that one's a better rebounder, somebody's a better scorer, somebody's a better whatever, but he's the best all around. Period. So he's better than every center in the league all around, right?
Offensively.
Yeah.
Sure.
So offensively, he's the most dominant center on the planet.
That's probably fair to say. I mean, I view dominance.
That's something I fear. That's something I fear.
That's okay. And like I said, maybe not fearing was the wrong phrase. I'll walk that back. For the Nuggets fans, I don't know how we have
Dennis Rodman.
I don't know why we have so many Nuggets fans.
You fear
but
Dennis Rodman.
For all the Nuggets fans who are here,
but
I do walk.
But let me explain something to you. You fear Dennis Rodman, not because he couldn't score, but you knew he was going to disrupt the game. He was going to defend either your best player and make his night impossible. He was going to just hound the boards like you've never seen before. And it's just something that he brought to the table. And Jokic is one of those guys. And you know, the funny part about the Denver Nuggets is I take Jokic for granted already. Like, I know who he's going to be every single night. My question with the Nuggets really is more Jamal Murray. If Jamal Murray comes to play, that's when you say, oh, shit, the Nuggets are impossible to stop right now. You know what I'm saying? Because you start throwing in Porter and all these other guys to complement them, because when Murray's going, dude, wow, man, he's got a gift. He's got a
Hey, I'll give Jokic and the Nuggets a lot of props. You know, we've had fun with this. I'm clearly an Embiid fan. There's like a little rivalry between Embiid and Jokic. Jokic has done what Embiid hasn't. They've got to the Western Conference Finals and multiple times in his career. Embiid has not done that. And,
finals too.
Just Western Conference Finals right now. He hasn't got to the finals yet, but he's 2 games away, and so he deserves a lot of credit for that. He has clearly been a better playoff performer than Joel at this point. And so although I'm a big Joel fan, I can admit that Jokic has done some things that he hasn't done. And so I have fun with the Jokic and Embiid stuff. They're different styles of players, and that's really my point that I'm trying to make. Embiid at his peak is probably more dominant, more imposing, more feared as a player. But when it's counted, Jokic has been more consistent, more complete as an offensive playmaker. And he helps make everybody else better in a way that Embiid does not do at this level of his game. Embiid will get you 40.
By the way, Jokic has the better number 2. He has the better number 2.
That's fair too. But I am not gonna like I said. I said this when the Sixers got eliminated. You can blame James Harden. You can blame Doc Rivers. I'm a Philly fan. I'm gonna put more of the blame on Joel Embiid because he's the best player on the team. That's the way I go about it. And I know that's not. But I'm saying this as a Sixers.
That's not fair.
I'm a Sixers and Embiid fan. And so I'm saying this from a fan perspective. Yes, Harden was awful. Doc deserved to be fired. But I need my best player to show up Game 7. And Tatum did. But
if I tell you Jamal Murray or James Harden you want on your team, who are you taking?
Jamal Murray. If I'm getting a healthy Jamal Murray, probably Jamal Murray. But I mean, you could
right. You nailed it. That's the only knock on Jamal Murray, his injuries. If he's not injured, give me Jamal Murray, bro. That guy's got some special talents, man, and he wants to play. You know, he wants to shine. And he's a team player and all that. I just like the way that guy's wired. You know what I mean? Did you see the Harden stuff? I found. Did you see the Harden stuff yesterday? That's hilarious.
Yeah,
I mean, he is only taking suitors that are contenders and that will allow him to be himself. So I ask you, are the Sixers putting a stripper pole inside the locker room?
I'm very fatigued with the Sixers right now. It's hard for me to just go about thinking the offseason. I'm hurt. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm in a period of hurt. And so, like, I really don't care what they do right now. Like, they fired Doc, and I was like, okay, cool.
But do you want Harden back? As I don't know why anybody would want that. I don't know why a contender. I get a bad team that doesn't have a lot of fans, and they want to bring some attention and bring them on so you can score 30 a night, and who cares? I get if you're that kind of a franchise. But if you legitimately want to be a champion, why do you want to associate yourself with that guy?
So I'm torn because James Harden was a top 20 player in basketball this year in the regular season. He played at an all-NBA level. He led the league in assists. When he played this point guard style they had him play, he was actually more effective as a player than he had been in 3 or 4 years. Now, he's saying he wants to be himself. Does that mean that he wants to be that take-on 30-point scorer again? I don't know if I want him to do that in my offense. But in the same spectrum, Philly's in a tough position. Because if James Harden walks in free agency, if he leaves to go to Houston or somewhere they can't replace him. And so I'd rather have James Harden than nothing.
Yeah, but that game doesn't age well, doggy. That game does not age well.
I hear you. And yes, if there's a world where I can upgrade to Damian Lillard, I'd love to do that. But am I just like dreaming? You know, like maybe I'm just dreaming. And maybe it's you look at your roster. Would you rather just add 2 role players instead of James Harden, I don't know if that makes us better. I don't know if that gets us out of the second round of the playoffs. And so, given the circumstances, unless there's a miracle star move that Daryl Morey can pull off, I'd probably say I'd rather have James Harden at a reasonable salary. I'm not paying him the max. I'm not paying him a 4-year deal. But if he's willing to take a 3-year, $85-90 million deal, I think I'd probably rather do that than let him walk for nothing.
All right, 2 Dolphin questions. One, everybody talks about the Heat culture, right? And Belichick has his culture. Popovich has his culture. There are certain franchises in all of sports. Some of them have had the good fortunes of developing a culture. I would think Pete Carroll has had one going on in Seattle for a while. Didn't produce a ton of titles, but could have produced at least a second there. But, certain places have been able to do that. And everybody brags about what the Heat culture is all about. And it is true. It does exist, obviously. And it's way too early to say they have one because they don't. But have you seen any semblance, any examples of things that you like that McDaniel is doing that could lead to establishing a culture finally for the Miami Dolphins, because they haven't had one since Don Shula retired?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll answer your question in a second. First, we're talking basketball. I will say if the Heat win this game tonight, I think they're winning the NBA Finals. I think that.
No, they're not beating Denver's the best team.
I think I'm just telling you.
You really,
that's my opinion.
Well, you
my
really
opinion.
are a Jokic hater, bro.
That's my opinion.
They are better than everybody that's left in the playoffs, man. Come on.
I'm just saying. Jimmy Butler.
Are they team of destiny? Is that what you're saying?
I feel differently about Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's got to get his ring. Jimmy Butler gets a ring before Jokic.
Okay.
But to answer your question about the culture, I think the biggest thing I've noticed about this team, and particularly now when it has Vic Fangio as their DC and kind of moved past the Patriot way, so to speak, is freedom. It's the ability to be yourself and think outside of the box. I thought it was very interesting listening to Jerome Baker a couple of weeks ago describe the differences between the defense and the do your job mentality that we heard so often from Brian Flores versus the Mike McDaniel, where it's, use your instincts, open the box, offensive freedom. And so I think the culture here is one where players know they're going to have fun while playing, and you're going to have a unique style of playing offensively. You're going to be fast. He's going to press into that. Mike McDaniel's going to press into that on defense. They're going to be, they're going to embrace the stardom element as well. A lot of teams shy away from getting that. This team has went and got Jalen Ramsey. This team has went and got Tyreek Hill. At a lesser level, they've went and got Teron Armstead and Bradley Chubb. They're not afraid to go get a big splash move to really create talent for this team. And so I think overall, the culture they're trying to build is one that we are going to be sort of the mentality that a lot of people have of Miami, the city, free, fun, a star-driven atmosphere, and we're going to turn that ideally into wins. Now, that second part we hadn't seen yet. We got to see that at the highest level. But that, to me, is probably what you see the early stints of this culture being.
Okay. I'm wondering, is your inbox, your DMs, your cell phone, are you getting bombarded by people all over the world in the Dolphin Nation clamoring for this man? Because as you know, anyone that becomes available from South Florida, well, Dolphin fans have clamored for him. So Harrison Bryant may be on the trading block for the Cleveland Browns, the former FAU All-Star. He does play the tight end position, something that has been a sore subject here for Dolphins and the Dolphins as they've signed tight ends, including Tyler Kroft recently. So how many people are telling you that the Dolphins should trade for Harrison Bryant now that the Browns made Njoku the top tight end on their team?
Yeah, so I don't know if I've just been out of the loop. I have not heard that once, so maybe I've just been out of the loop. But it is May. I try my best to be off of social media as much as possible in this period because I'm going to be asked about Dalvin Cook 10 times a day. I'm going to be asked, about every single player who becomes available. I've not heard a thing about Harrison Bryant.
This is a FAU player, and he plays tight end, bro. I mean, get ready. I saw it on Pro Football Talk that, the Browns now, because they've paid Njoku, they're going to put him now on the trading block, and they're probably going to get like a third-day pick for him, if anything. But he's actually not a bad player. He's actually a decent player. So, all kidding aside, it's interesting because somebody's going to get something, pretty cheap, because they're probably going to have to give up a 5th, 6th, or 7th round pick, or maybe a conditional 7th that can become a 6th or a 5th or a 4th or something. I don't know, but I just found it funny, and I'm going, okay, I'm about to get bombarded with Harrison Bryant requests.
Yeah, I would rather talk about Dalvin Cook than Harrison Bryant, and I'm tired of talking about Dalvin Cook. So,
yeah. And by the way, they took him off the header on Twitter, and they put Madison in there. So
I saw that.
I to me, it still doesn't make any sense for them to even release him. Nobody's trading for him, and I've told people that. I told them that the Dolphins would never be trading for him. If he gets released and he wants to take a really small salary, then they'll sign him here, $3-4 million. But he's not gonna get back his $10 million that he wants. If he wants to get paid, he's gonna have to go somewhere else. But in Minnesota's case, okay, sure, dude, you want to go with Alexander Madison? That's fine. But you should have a couple of backs on your roster. You already have money under the cap as it is. Yeah. You're not cap strapped or anything that you need this money so badly. To me, and you have Kirk Cousins. You don't have a great quarterback. So the more playmakers you have for him, I think the better you are. To me, it makes even 0 sense to actually release Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, it's the devaluing of the running back position. I hate it. But it just seems like everybody's trying to cut money at that position. Figures if we can go cheaper and cheaper, we can find 80% of the production with the Alexander Madison for $2-3 million versus a $10-12 million for Dalvin Cook. Now, I don't agree. I think Dalvin Cook's a special player when healthy.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Minnesota needs those special players because Kirk Cousins, he's a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback. You surround those type of guys with playmakers. But I'm not building that roster. And I'll tell you what, if he's released, I think he does get quite a bit of interest, across the league. Like you, I just don't know why that makes sense. My guess is they would love to get something for him. Maybe they're holding out and saying, hey, June 1st, money opens for Miami or another team, and somebody sends us a 5th or 6th round pick, and we can be rid of it. We don't owe any money to them, and we can kind of move on. And that's maybe they're holding out for that. But I don't know. It just doesn't add up to me. To me, you play it out with Cook. He's not making outrageous money, and he's still going to take 250 carries for you this year. So, but, we'll see what they do.
One more thing before I let you go. Have you heard anything on the logo? Is there any chance that they're going to go back to the old logo, maybe put a new twist to it or something like that? Any news on any logo change back from the Dolphins and getting away from the whale?
I have not heard anything of that respect. I know there's usually like a 5-year hiatus. You got to go without making significant changes to your jerseys or helmets or anything of that sort. I know they made a change. What was that, like 19 or 20 or something around there? So I don't know if this is the final year of that or what, but I have not heard anything of note about a logo change.
All right. There you go. Follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolf. Catch his work there at the NFL Network. As always, Cam, appreciate you immensely, my friend. Thank you so much.
All right, man.
Great weekend.
Sounds good. You too.
You got it. There you go. Cameron Wolf, baby. The man that doesn't fear Jokic. You closing the segment or what?
This has been the KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
Helpful Man is telling me to buy some Cadena. I have a nice fat ass bag of Cadena, my friend. So yes, I am already there. I've been on Cadena's train for a little over a year and a half, something like that. So yeah, we are good. We love Cadena, a New York company, by the way, New York guys, American company. And what they basically did was they got the Bitcoin chain, which is obviously the most secure one on the planet. And then what they were able to do is um, kind of like what Polkadot was able to do, that they were able to, what's the word I'm looking for? Where they got the chain and they were able to, where, in other words, the chain's able to multiply and handle more, it handles more and more transactions per second than regular Bitcoin. So it's almost like with Bitcoin and the ordinals and everything going on now, they should have a conversation with the Cadena people to find out how they were able to, and I'm trying to find the damn word, but how they were able to make it, scalable, way more scalable than what it is normally for Bitcoin, because of the ordinals, it's kind of slowed things down for Bitcoin right now. And some of the Bitcoin maxis are a little, pissed about that for the transactions. So, and the transaction price to get, it's gone up a little bit because of that, because there's so much traffic with the ordinals. Well, you may want to talk to Cadena and find out how they were able to scale their, blockchain and do the same, get what Bitcoin has, but then make it where they're able to handle way more transactions at a time. So, yes, I am with you, sir. I am already on the Cadena bandwagon. Love Cadena. And right now, it is at a very, very good bargain. It is, I think if Cadena is under $1, it is a buyer's market. That's the way I look at it for me. Okay. I've got it. My average price is much lower than that. But those of you that have not invested, it's at 79 cents right now. To me, it's a steal at 79 cents. So I agree with you. I love Cadena. And that is one company that I support in crypto. Let's see, what else do we have? Garfinkel dropping the ball. No, it's not Garfinkel. Garfinkel didn't make that logo. That came before Garfinkel. And he told me that in an interview. He said it. That happened before me. I think Garfinkel wants to change it. I think there's something going on. Big O, which cold storage wallet do you recommend? The Ledger is having some issues right now. I don't use Ledger. I use Trezor, but Ledger has this whole thing about a backdoor, and I'm not happy with that. If I may stay away from the Ledger. Okay. What else? Pat in Nashville says Miami could have had a new logo and uniform, but would have to have notified the NFL last year and gotten approval and TV camera tested by late fall. But we'll see. Maybe they'll do that soon enough. Big O, who would you live to see? No, who would you love to see surprise you on the offense and defensive side? Someone you're holding out hope for, but just don't see it. Oh, definitely one of the linemen. Definitely. And I'm going to go right tackle Austin Jackson because that's Tua's blind side. So, yes, I want Austin Jackson to have a breakout year and make us all feel good and feel comfortable that, Tua's blind side is protected so easily. That's a layup. That's and he's a good dude. Austin Jackson has worked hard. He's not a bad person. He's just had some bad luck and things haven't gone his way. Austin Jackson, I am rooting for in a big time way to come through for the Miami Dolphins. I think it would be enormous. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, no, I'm not going to say Noah Igbenogany. Cam Smith. And I'm going to say that I don't see it right now, not because I don't have any hope for him or anything. He's a rook. He's a baby. So we got to give him time to grow, but you desperately need him to grow quickly because I think you'll part ways with X next year. And then you're going to need an outside corner opposite of Jalen. So Cam Smith is the guy that I'm hoping has a quick development here for the Miami Dolphins. Okay? There you go. All right, here we go. He's ready to go. Gary Washburn, we love him, man. He does an excellent job. Boston Globe, national NBA writer. Been covering sports there for a long time. He knows the Celtics inside and out. And when we want insight, we go to Gary. And there he is. Follow him on Twitter at @GWashburnGlobe. Gary, how you doing, my friend? How you feeling?
Good. Can you hear me?
I hear you perfectly. You're looking good.
Okay, good.
You feeling good?
Yeah, feeling good, looking good. Yeah, everything is good.
Well, you're looking good and you're feeling better than Joe Mazzulla right now. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Right now. And I got to tell you something. I don't pick on him like other people do, because here's my problem with the Joe Mazzulla situation that I don't think enough people, you probably have talked about it or written about it. I probably didn't catch it at the moment, but I feel it's a tough situation for a young coach. When you're throwing him into a position where the team is a contender and there are already expectations, that's a really tough position to put a young coach in. Like when Spo started, his first couple years, it was, he had a young Dwayne Wade and he had, a bunch of journeymen and other young guys before the big three came along. So he had a couple of years to kind of get his feet wet and kind of figure things out. And he had like an early round playoff exit and that kind of stuff with Wade. And so at least he was able to kind of grow in his shoes a little bit. Poor Joe's kind of been thrown into the fire right away. This is a really tough thing to adjust to for a young coach, and then you're going up against a seasoned coach in Spoelstra too. It just becomes a really tough situation for Mazzulla, where I think it's a little unfair to him, the mountain that he has to climb.
Yeah, but remember, Big O, Brad Stevens is still in the organization. He can get advice and tips from other guys around. And the one thing that hurts him is the coaching staff. Will Hardy went to the Utah Jazz, had a really good first season there. And then Damon Stoudemire, one of his assistants, who obviously former rookie of the year, played 12, 13 years in the league. He took the Georgia Tech job. So his staff is not as full as you look over in the other side and see, Karan Butlers and Chris Quinns, and you see a full staff, a lot of guys with a lot of experience, and even, I'd call Udonis Haslem another assistant coach on that staff. He knows the game better than anybody.
Yeah.
But I was thinking back to the early Spoelstra years. Wasn't it supposed to be the big three of like Sean Marion, D Wade, and Michael Beasley? Like, wasn't that the early Spoelstra? Oh
yeah.
Boy, yeah.
Yeah. Remember that?
But that was before the real big three came down there. But it's a challenge, and Missoula's got to step up his game. I mean, you're in the Eastern Conference Finals. You're facing a master. And, the Heat are a team that's cohesive, together, all the terminologies for a great team that's close, that's really confident after having a real bumpy season. And so you're going to have to beat them. They're not going to beat themselves. And, I think that in this series, and if game one, I've looked at Miami's playoff road, and they were elite offensively in that Milwaukee series. I mean, they were just scoring at will. And then the New York series was a rock fight. I mean, I saw Jimmy Butler hit 1 3-pointer in the Knicks series, and he hit 2 in game one. So it just shows you the disparity. Kyle Lowry led the Heat in blocks in the Knicks series. Bam had 4 blocks in that whole series. Kyle Lowry had 8. So the Celtics, I think, hope and understand that probably the offense levels off a little bit, but you can't count on that. Like, you got to play better defense. You can't leave open shooters. You got to protect the three-point line. Miami was elite from three-point line, and then they seemingly hit every big shot down the stretch. And, they were not good in the fourth quarter, but neither were the Celtics. So Miami wants to turn this series into a rock fight. And I think they know they're not going to be as good offensively, but they could be better defensively too. So the Celtics have a real challenge on their hands in this series, and I'd say a must-win tonight. You don't want to go back down to Miami down 0-2 and have to probably win 2 of the road games down there to even the series. You don't want to go down 3-1. You don't want to be on the brink as they were against Philadelphia. So really critical game tonight.
Yeah, I'm with you. This is an incredibly critical game, I think, for the Celtics. And the clipboard scene. I don't know how that plays for a coach that has not established himself, does not have a culture in place, does not have respect yet at that point. Plus, today's players, not compared to older players, I don't know if they respond to those confrontational type of things. Like young people nowadays, man, they're kind of sensitive. You know what I mean? Gary, us old school people, your dad could, or mom could give you an ass whipping, and 5 minutes later you're hugging and you're overlooking and you just forget about it. You moved on with. That's the kind of culture we kind of grew up with. Today's kids, man, it kind of stays with them. So I'm wondering, that clipboard scene, do you think that carries much for him? Was that a good move by his part? And in that scene, what do you think about that?
I think it showed a level of frustration, and he should have been frustrated with him because, but it was his fault too. I mean, the one thing that separates Spo from a lot of other coaches is the in-game adjustments. It's not between the game. I think Missoula was able to overcome some troubles in the early Philadelphia series with his between the game adjustments. That big starting lineup changed the series for them, won them the last 2 games. Their defense was elite in those last 2 games. And I think they felt that would carry over. It didn't. But at halftime, because the Celtics, I thought, had Miami really reeling in the second quarter. The Heat couldn't score. They were turning the ball over. The Celtics were taking control up 12. It's like, okay, this is a chance to really jump on these guys, get up by 18, 19, 20 points, and then fight them off the last 12, 14 minutes of the game. And the Heat were able to cut the lead to 9 by halftime. And then I think in the second half, they just made some adjustments. And the Celtics didn't adjust, and hence 46-point third quarter. And I think that's where the frustration came from, not adjusting to Miami's adjustments. And I think Joe has to be better at in-game adjustments. That's what's going to win them this series. Because Spo is going to.
Somebody tell them that they don't count quarters; they count wins.
Yeah, that's the thing. He was
won 3 quarters, bro.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, he was right. Like, they outplayed him in the first half. The fourth quarter was a real rock fight where nobody was good. But when you get outscored by 21 points and you allow a record number of points, I think that's a Heat record for number of points in a quarter in the playoffs, and you just let them shoot 65%, you don't that's the game. So it doesn't matter how many quarters you won. They won the first quarter by 2 points. So whoop-de-doo. That doesn't mean a lot. So you can build off momentum, and you can say, well, we played them. We were the better team most of the night, but not when it counted. And that was the kind of the key Big O in the bubble series, where the Celtics would take a 7, 8, 9-point lead into the fourth quarter, and the Miami would take their lunch money. Miami would be the tougher team. And the question, I think the Celtics understand, because I've been told this, that Miami's not going to give up. Okay? Miami and Philadelphia are different. Philadelphia, I think the Celtics felt like they could beat them down to the point where like the last 4 minutes of Game 6,
to get
and then where they would just throw in the towel, not give up, but just be discombobulated.
Right.
The Heat might be a little disorganized, but they're not going to get discombobulated, especially with Jimmy at the head of the snake, with him running the show.
That doesn't matter, bro. If it's UD or Alonzo Mourning or Dwayne Wade, or the history under Riley has always been, you either hustle or you're not going to be here very long. It's just kind of the way it is with this organization. Let me ask you this. Is the challenge for Missoula a little tougher than Spo? Because, and this is
totally outsider's point of view. You have the insight, so you can educate us on this. When I look at and Shaq was touching a little bit on it on TNT, and I agree with him. When you look at the Heat, everybody knows their role. Everybody knows their place. Nobody's clamoring to be the guy. The guy is Jimmy, and then everybody else plays their role around Jimmy, and everybody's fine with that. Whereas sometimes you look at the Celtics, and it seems like there's a power struggle at times between Tatum and Brown. And then, I think Marcus Smart is one of those guys that is just so underrated, and he's not given almost enough authority to be kind of a leader on that team. And it's just it seems like there's a revolving door of who wants to take over, and there's not like a pecking order, even though Tatum is the best player, but yet the best player doesn't act like it in the second half of the last game when you're taking 4 shots in the second half and none in the fourth quarter. There's no way you can be that passive. And so is there a pecking order? Is there a structure? Is there an understanding within these guys to play and complement each other? And that's something that you're not seeing, at least it seems like, with the Celtics. And then tell me about the Brown Tatum, dynamic, because I get a feeling at times like Brown wants to be the guy at times, but he has to defer to Tatum. And so it seems like there's some kind of uncomfortable thing there. So walk me through what I see from afar. How off am I on this?
Well, I don't think that they have a rivalry going. I think both of them root for each other, and Tatum is the 1A guy and Brown is the 1B guy. But I think in game one, Tatum sat out, came in with like 10 minutes left. The Celtics had started their rally, and then I think he sometimes feels the pressure. Okay, go to work, Jason. Go get us 20 points to end the game. Go get us. And I think he put a lot of pressure on himself. Miami played pressure defense. And then I think with Jalen, there's times that he'll take over or attempt to where he took that 3-pointer, I think they were down 6 or 4, and it was kind of he had just hurt his hand. I think Bam landed on his hand, and then Jalen takes a kind of a hero ball 3. That I think they were down 4, and if it goes in, they're down 1. New game. It didn't go in. I think Miami came back. Now I want to say Caleb Martin hit that corner 3. I think that was a sequence where it went up to 117, 110. And that's the kind of stuff like Jalen is not always as reliable, and sometimes he can be turnover prone when trying to take over. And then Jason was just uncharacteristically timid, and he's got to work on that. Like that's something that he can't. He's got to act like he's the best MF on the floor. It can't be Jimmy Butler. Like you can't just divert to Jimmy. Like you got to be like, no, man, this ain't your night. And it was Jimmy's night. I mean, he hit that 3-pointer that bounced in, and he got to his spots. And that's the thing you don't want is letting them come back from 5 down, and like you got to knock them out. The Celtics had a 9-point lead at halftime. I think they increased it to 12 early in the third, and then Miami went on that run, and that was it. And that's exactly what they didn't want. So I think they're fine. I don't think they're like trying to outdo each other. I think sometimes they both have weaknesses. Tatum can sometimes become timid, like he was in the finals, and Jalen can be mistake prone. Sometimes he can take ill-advised shots. Sometimes he can lose handle of the ball. He had too many turnovers down the stretch. You can't, both of them threw direct passes to Jimmy Butler. Jimmy's playing free safety out there, and I don't know anyone better that I've ever seen that reads passing lanes like Jimmy does. And so you got to be careful when you pass the ball when he's in the vicinity. Half of
that, Gary, half of that is the will, because most coaches will tell you, half of defense is about effort. And you got to want to have the hunger to want to play defense all the time, have that mindset. And that's what I give Jimmy a lot of credit that, Michael was like that too. Scotty was he got it instilled by Michael. Certain, star players that are great offensive players also had that same evil way that they wanted to be as great on defense and they wanted to steal the ball as much as they want to score. And Jimmy is one of those rare birds that really takes the same pride in his defense than he does in his offense. And I think it's because that was his door in. That's what made him what he was from the get-go, was a role player, defense, those kind of things before he became a star.
Yeah. And you don't want him running things down the stretch like he did in game one, where he's scoring the buckets, making stops. So the Celtics played right into the Heat's hands in game one. So we'll see what they do in game two, whether they take control, whether they come out with that fire, whether they come out with that want to and that passion that they need to win this series. I mean, if they don't give 100% effort, they'll lose this series. And so I think they realize that. You would hope that they would realize that. And now that they've tasted their own blood a little bit, now they come back and say, okay, we're the better team. Because on paper they are. Doesn't mean they're the more cohesive team. And they've got to act like it as opposed to thinking that Miami is somehow going to fold.
Gary, from an outsider's point of view, we all see the undrafted guys that they've got here, and they've developed it. They've done a marvelous job. Duncan and Gabe and Strus and those kind of guys. But the one guy that I see out of that group that I think actually has the potential to become a much better player than just a role player is Caleb Martin. I'm wondering, what do you see from those kind of cats? Is there one guy like what I see in Caleb that I think Caleb has that ability offensively, even defensively, to really become a much better player in this league? Your thoughts from an outsider's point of view of some of these undrafted guys that have been helping out Miami?
Yeah, I fall short of putting Caleb Martin in the category of a Duncan Robinson and a Gabe Vincent and a Max Strus. The Martin brothers were high school recruits. Like they were, I think they were at Kansas, so they were not scrubs. These were not, Gabe Vincent went to UC Santa Barbara, Strus went to DePaul, Duncan Robinson
he went to Michigan.
Yeah, but he was at a Division III school before that. He jumped up in the transfer, Williams College. So these guys were not highly rated, big-time, top 100 recruits. The Martin brothers were, okay? They just didn't have the type of career. They ended up transferring to Nevada, led them to a deep tournament run. I think they went to the Sweet 16 or Elite 8 the one year, and they both came out, and they both took time to find their way. So I think Caleb Martin is, and honestly, Caleb is the one that wasn't, quote unquote, wasn't as good as his brother Cody. But Caleb is really, I think the Heat system has done wonders for him. The 3-and-D guy, the corner 3 guy. Yeah, I think eventually he could, if the Heat don't bring, he could probably earn $15 million in this league per year as a really good swing man, a starter in this league. So yeah, like I think I kind of separate him because I think he's really, like you said, got a lot of potential. Gabe Vincent, Duncan Robinson, Max Strus, really good guys who are maximizing their potential. Caleb is a guy I think that was always potentially capable of this, but it's just happening a little later than we thought.
One more thing before I let you go. Jimmy Butler, he has turned himself into a hell of a player, a star. And where I was dead wrong, Gary, I looked at Butler when they acquired him. I said, all right, this is a good acquisition, but you need to acquire one more star better than him because Jimmy's a 2 at best. That's what I said then. Now, well, he's a 1, and there's no argument there. And have you ever seen what other player do you remember that has manufactured and constructed his career from being practically a role player that we just talked about to becoming a number 1 type of franchise player? How many guys do you remember that were able to do that in this league?
Yeah, not a lot. Big. I compare Jimmy Butler to like Draymond Green, and not in the attitude like somewhat an attitude. Obviously, Draymond a lot more controversial, but Jimmy, like Draymond, does not make a lot of friends. Has not had a lot of friends in his previous stops. Will tell you when he feels like you're not working hard. Will talk mess. Will say whatever's on his mind. And I think that these are guys who were four-year college guys who came out and had to work the hard way. Draymond second round pick, Jimmy second round pick, Jimmy late first round pick out of Marquette. And I think everybody told Jimmy, you're maxed, you're already 22, you're too old, you're not going to, all that. And he internalized that, and it's turned out to be a Hall of Famer to me. I think Jimmy will eventually go to the Hall of Fame just with his leadership. And I just think, that's a fantastic player. And getting better with age, 33 years old, has not shown signs of slowing down. And I think the Heat, what they do is they rest him. 55, 56 regular season games. Jimmy's not going to win MVP because he's not going to play in 70, 75 games. But this is what they save him for, these types of times and moments and games. So I think anyone who's followed basketball for a long time appreciates the greatness of Jimmy Butler and what he's done for that Heat franchise, because it would seem like a natural fit. Because, in Chicago, it didn't quite work. And in Minnesota, we knew what happened there. In Philadelphia, the 76ers chose to sign Tobias Harris over Butler. Big mistake there. And now Jimmy finds a place where they welcome him. He seems to vibe with Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra. He understands the culture. The culture has embraced him. And now he's making the best of his late career. Not late career, but on the back nine, 33 years old. And I think that's a testament to his work ethic. And I think he's headed for the Hall of Fame.
I tweeted out this statement yesterday, which is kind of screwed up, but I think it's true. Jimmy Butler has done more with less than Dwayne Wade did in a Heat uniform. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
huh?
You could say that.
I didn't say
I don't like comparison. Yeah, you could say that.
I just said he's done more. I mean, this is his third Eastern Conference Finals in 4 years, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. And he doesn't have another star next to him. There's no Shaq, there's no LeBron, there's no Bosh. Please. I mean, it's crazy. And here's the other crazy statement I put out yesterday. Again, not a better coach overall, because if you throw in the Knicks and the Lakers, he kills them. But if you look at Pat Riley's Heat run, Eric Spoelstra's Heat run has surpassed him. Okay, and so for any franchise to have a coach that's better than the prior one that was pretty damn good for you, that's pretty impressive. Of course, you throw Riley, what he did with New York and the Lakers. Riley's one of the 5 greatest coaches of all time. We all know that. But Riley's run with the Heat has been surpassed by Spo. It's pretty amazing. That's impressive. You got to love what Butler and what Spo have been able to develop and do here. We lost him? All right. So what'd you think about that, Gary, as we wrap it up? Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you now. Go ahead.
Okay. Spoelstra, amazing coach, underrated coach, a guy who doesn't like the spotlight, a guy who doesn't like to talk about himself very much. And obviously, he's also headed to the Hall of Fame when he decides to retire. And I think the thing is, after 15 years, usually your message eventually gets stale. For some reason, what he's been able to do, it hasn't. And so he can coach for 10, 12 more years probably in Miami if he wants to. He's still a young man at 53, I think, now 52, 53. So just what an amazing find. And, if people, golf at the Heat culture and all that and think it's all maybe talked about a little too much at times, or whatever, and people get sick of it. But I think it's definitely real, and you definitely respect that organization.
Shula had it. Popovich had it. Lots of people have developed cultures. We have one here. Lots of other places have been able to do it for a long time. Red Auerbach had his culture going for a long time. This is something that's gone on for many, many years in different coaches. Follow him on Twitter because he's exceptional. G Washburn. At G Washburn, Globe, that is, and then catch his work there at the Boston Globe. Gary, as always, you're a stud, my brother. Thank you for taking some time. Enjoy the basketball tonight, my friend.
Thanks, Miguel.
Appreciate you.
There you go. Gary Washburn from the Boston Globe. G. Washburn Globe. Follow him on Twitter. Excellent work there. Excellent interview there. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Appreciate it. What do we got here? You guys are still talking colors and logos? Is that what you're doing? Paulie King says, I think the Celtics helped off Martin too much, especially last year, and he made them pay in game one. We'll see the adjustments. Well, if you listen to the Anthony Chang interview from yesterday, that's exactly what he told Anthony Chang. He said, last year I failed the team, and I didn't even play at times. They benched me because I wasn't hitting those shots, and he said that wasn't going to happen to me this year. And this year, he's hitting those shots, and he's making them pay. I really like Caleb Martin. I've been on the Caleb Martin bandwagon for a while. He's the one guy that you see. There's that it factor. It's an it factor with him. I see it, man. It's there. He just has to. It's evolving, and it just has to continue to evolve. That's really what we're talking about. All right, we thank Gary Washburn. We thank Cameron Wolf. We thank Manny Navarro. We thank Sean Stanley, of course. We thank Jeffrey. We thank Alan. We thank all the great people out here at KSDT CPA offices in Dadeland. Remember, they've got offices in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. Okay, so if you need a great firm to help your business, to your personal taxes, they can take care of you, man. Use that QR code and tell them that Big O sent you. Maybe they can get you, get you to file late and help you out. And they can answer any of your questions. Consultation's free, so call them 305-670-3370. We are out of here. We will see you on Monday. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Go Heat, go Panthers, go Inter Miami, go Marlins. See you Monday.